welcome to The Same Coin, a brand new gaming podcast bringing you the latest news and topics each week. The idea of The Same Coin is that we're all gamers, but we do see things a little bit differently and a little bit from different perspectives. Hence the name. Clever, I guess. Anyway, my name's Ditz, and with me today we've got two people who have never podcasted before. We have Ben Fordy, and we have Chris Jellyman.
Hello.
Right, guys, since this is our first time doing this show, I thought we'd do a little bit of who are we and what do we do. So does anyone want to start?
You can start.
I can start, can I? All right, well, my name's Ditz. I've used the podcast. I know people listen to this may have heard me before on the gamer scene. I did that about a year ago and then decided to take a bit of a break from podcasting. And I don't think I've got any better, so great. But anyway, yeah, we'll take a bit of a break. But I thought, well, actually, I've started to get the itch a little bit, and thought, right, I need to start getting a show together. And I've assembled the teams. Actually, it's a bit like Avengers, trying to get people together. But yeah, and we're back, ready to talk about games.
Very nice.
Cool. You didn't say that I'm definitely not Black Widow, though. If we're the Avengers, then I'm definitely not. That's not in my contract, or So
you told me you did when you sent the pictures.
Well, yeah, okay. It depends on how much drink you ply me with. So yeah.
Well, I'll be the Hulk.
Hulk smash. Okay, cool.
So, Fordy, who are you?
Who am I? Well, but from this point onwards, I'm going to be known as Master of Stupidity, as far as I'm concerned. No, I mean, really, I've had a little bit of experience in podcasts. I've been on one or two, and I've always turned down sort of getting more involved and doing more of a weekly thing. But when you came on Ditz, I've got to be honest, I couldn't really turn that down. The legend yourself asking me, I had to sort of go with it. But no, for me, I mean, really, I'm the guy in the corner who's going to sort of talk nonsense every now and again. I mean, I've been into video games for years and years and years. Got all sorts of systems, dating right back to an Atari 2600. I've got lots and lots of games, and I play very little, but I play lots of games, but a little amount. So I thought, why not get on board and come and talk a load of old nonsense? But that's it for me. So what about you, Chris?
Yeah, well, I'm 35. I'm married. I'm a Wolves fan, but I'm not going to talk about them. I'm a father-to-be shortly, in less than 4 weeks. Sounds like I'm putting a personal ad in. I like, what is it, pina coladas and getting caught in the rain? Yeah, that kind of thing. I've been playing games for 30 years or so, give or take. My earliest memory is playing a Pong machine. When you got the paddles and there was usually a gun attached to them, like the actual console itself. And then playing Spectrum 48K games. Jet Set Willy, I remember playing that. Probably the hardest game I've ever played.
Specky person, Commodore.
Yeah. I see, yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a Spectrum guy. My mate had a Commodore, but I was always like, I'd love my Specky. Playing Beachhead as well and Spy Hunter. I don't know if you guys ever played any of those games. And then kind of went on to Master System, and then just went on to own every sort of major console that came out. I had an Amiga, Ben. I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear that.
The best.
Yeah. Because again, it was kind of like, although I'm not a fanboy, it was either you had...
Actually, let me correct that. It was my favourite.
Oh, okay. You either had an ST or an Amiga. I didn't really know anybody had both, but...
I have both now, but that's...
See, I always wanted an Amiga. We always had the Commodore 64.
So, but I'm pretty much I'm not a fanboy really. I'm just all about the games. I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity to have each system now, like PlayStation 3 and 360. I do tend to play more on my 360 than PlayStation, just because I'm a bit of an achievement slag. But yeah, I don't. I'm all about the games, and I do like my retro stuff as well, I have to say, and because it kind of reminds me of being a young lad. When I had no cares in the world and all that kind of stuff. So,
bring it back.
But there you go. But yeah, that's probably me, a potted history of myself. Yeah.
Nice, a good intro, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, should we move on to what we've been playing? like any good podcast, we are going to have the tried and tested section of what we've been playing. So I think I might kick this one off. And if anyone knows me, I haven't changed. I still love my PC. I still play MMOs every day. And I've been playing the latest one as well, as it would be. Probably I'll play this for a couple of weeks and then say move on to the next one. But it's Terra. Has any of you guys heard of Terra?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. That's as good as it's going to get.
Fair enough.
And I've seen a few videos of it, obviously, but playing-wise, no, definitely not.
Fair enough. I mean, it's an extremely pretty game. If you've seen the videos, you probably think, wow, this is rather quite nice.
Absolutely.
It's one of the first, it's not the first, but it's one of the first MMOs to use the Unreal Engine 3. So it's everything, everything does look crisp. Everything looks like Gears of War, like Unreal Tournament. And even some of the monsters, when you play Unreal games, you can tell, can't you?
Yeah.
Everything looks a bit Gears-like. But what Terra's hook is that with most MMOs, it's, you walk up to, you press tab to target something, and it's then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're just jabbing the buttons, and it's the same thing over and over. What Terra does differently is that it's all live action sort of, when you press the button, your mouse is used to swing your sword. There's no 1, 2, 3. It's all very much combo based.
Everything you're saying there, I've got to be honest, from my point of view, I have no idea what you're talking about. In other words, the 1, 2, what's that all about? I don't know. But I'm guessing by what you're saying there, in other words, it's actually real time.
It is all real time combat, yeah.
Okay.
Which is, that's very new for an MMO. There's been a few in the past, but, if you've seen like your Warcraft videos and things like this, it's all just press your button and you do your skill.
Okay.
Yeah, and it adds an element of skill to it. And you've got dodge. If you press right button on your mouse, it's normally a dodge attack if you're playing as a warrior, and it is very much directional. It's not you're locked onto a character and your arrow will magically find them.
To me, that sounds more interesting. Did that make? I prefer real time sort of combat, and I think that's. I mean, I haven't got a PC anyway that would play this sort of game, but if I did, I would prefer that type of combat mechanic. I think.
It is brilliant. And that's the thing. I've not got bored of it at all. We've been playing it through. I've been playing it through with Alicia, and we're level 30 now, about halfway each. And it doesn't get boring because the combat, every combat scenario is slightly different. As it would be in an action game. And if you're not doing it quite right, maybe you'll lose a bit more health than the other one. But it's always interesting, always fun. And the quests are quite boring. I've read quite a few reviews or people's views on it, and they're like, that it's all go kill 10, go kill 10. But it's kind of true. But it doesn't matter because when you're just running around killing stuff, and actually being active in the fight, it's fine because nobody moans about Gears of War, do they? That you run up to someone and shoot them for 3 hours.
No, absolutely. So why is this not everything you're saying? Why is it a flash in the pan? I mean, why is no one sort of saying, "Oh, look, this is a breakthrough for that sort of game"?
I think people who it's got a bit of controversy behind it, which I'm not even going to bother entertaining. It's just a stupid thing. But they've got some of the characters in the games who look a little bit young, and people have gone a bit crazy about that.
Yeah, I saw a bit of that on Twitter, but
that was good fun.
It was because when that sort of came up, I obviously can't comment. I have not played the game, but from what I've seen on videos, and I did a quick check. I mean, at the end of the day, from my point of view, I didn't really see an issue with it. No,
I don't think there's any issue at all.
So how does it compare to, say, like WoW? Because, I mean, I'll be honest, I've never played WoW or an MMO, but saying that, I did play Phantasy Star Online on the GameCube. Which is kind of, I suppose, like an MMO, but not in any kind of like, the more modern, can't compare it to, say, WoW or whatever. But, I mean, that was like leveling up your character, and from what you were saying about the 1, 2, 3, if I understand it right, you got your sort of your low, medium, and hard attacks and things like that. I mean, how does it compare to WoW? Because all I see of WoW is, aren't they doing that Panda expansion or something like that?
Yeah, the Mists of Pandaria, and they're adding a new class, the Monk, to that. They're just it's very different. I'd say WoW is more, you press a button and something happens in the background, if you see what I mean, and you might have pressed fire attack. The system will roll and then it will say, you hit and you may have done a critical or whatever. And then you're back again. Kind of like, do you ever play Knights of the Old Republic?
I didn't, no. I'll be honest, no.
It's a more turn-based sort of combat.
Right. I played that. I actually quite enjoyed that back in the day on the Xbox, yeah? Yeah, I quite enjoyed that, yeah.
And it's that turn-based thing where you don't really have much say in the fight. but, it's done fast enough that you don't really notice. But, as I say, with Terror, it's more, if I'm standing to the left of him, I'll do more damage, because obviously I'm hitting them on maybe a weaker side, or if I'm behind them, I'll do more damage, things like this.
Okay.
Definitely a more interesting way. That would definitely interest me more. All I need now is a PC.
What they do have as well, they've got these huge monsters. They're known as big-ass monsters. Or BAMs, what they call them in the game.
Oh,
Seriously, big-ass monster.
Big-ass monsters. They're well funny. I'll show you a picture, actually. But they're just these huge things, and you need like a group of 5 of you to take it down. And it's fun having to... And, the game does really force you to get into groups as well, which is what a lot of people moan about with MMOs as well. They're like, well, they're all just solo games, You're paying this monthly to play on your own, but Terra does do a good job of putting you together and saying, right, at this point, you're going to need 5 people, so you better go and talk to people so you can go do it.
Oh, cool. And is there a fee? How much is it?
I think it's $8.99 a month.
Right.
Obviously, if you buy the game, you get your 30 days. It's a typical MMO thing, which in a world where, monthly subscriptions are going, Terra could be one of the last big ones to give it a try.
So it's definitely going to disappear, isn't it, that model? Because it just doesn't interest me, that, paying monthly for a game. I don't know why, but I think I'm just used to not paying monthly for a game,
Yeah, I do fully understand that. I mean, I don't know, I play pretty much exclusively sort of PC titles and MMOs, and I would argue that it's probably cheaper to have a few MMOs running than it is to go out and buy the new game every week.
Yeah,
that's another discussion. But no,
yeah.
It's a good fun game. If anyone's got a PC to run it, give it a go. And actually, I might be able to give out some free 7-day trials if anyone's interested. Just mail in. No.
Cool. And do you need a decent spec PC to play it?
To do it justice, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say if you can run, you'd need a good PC. It doesn't
okay.
get spec.
That's me out.
And me.
Yeah. It's good to have you dits on board,
That's brilliant, isn't it? Just sit and talk about games nobody's ever going to play. Well, I suppose the other game I've been playing as well then is Diablo 3. I'm sure you guys have played Diablo before.
No.
Oh,
Sorry.
How's your index finger?
it's doing all right. I've actually survived the crack. I haven't been that addicted to it.
No.
Maybe
Read a few things in a few publications. It is basically just a beautiful, beautiful Diablo, isn't it?
It's Diablo.
Yeah.
If nobody's ever played Diablo before or a similar game, something like Torchlight.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate, yeah.
Yeah, similar.
Baldur's Gate was a bit more RPG behind it, wasn't there?
Right, okay.
Diablo is very much click and kill everything.
It wears out of houses, doesn't it? Or mice, should I say.
It probably would do, yeah. I mean, I haven't got that far in it. I'm probably not letting myself get addicted to it. But it's basically a typical dungeon crawler. You see from an isometric viewpoint, you click where your character goes, and then you click on the things to kill them. And there's the barbarian, the witch doctor, the wizard, the demon hunter, all sorts of different classes you can be. And yeah, you kill stuff, you gain XP, you get loot. And what Diablos are all about is loot. There is so much loot in this game, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Borderlands, but obviously not shooter. But that was all about collecting loot and guns and things like that, wasn't it?
No, that's a good link to it. Yeah, Borderlands had a ridiculous amount of loot, didn't it?
Yeah.
And again, you get a lot of pointless things in Diablo, but they do. I think probably Borderlands didn't really sort of cater the loot to your character that well.
Yeah. Like you say, it was kind of there was lots of. I mean, they were saying there's thousands of variations of different guns you could pick up, but like you say, it was kind of what's relevant to you, or so.
Still to play Borderlands.
Good game.
Yeah, I've heard it's very good.
Yeah, it was fun multiplayer, definitely. Our single player, it was okay, but multiplayer is where I think it kind of came alive, definitely.
But with Diablo, I mean, you probably heard about the crazy launch problems it had as well.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. And I mean, it's like the fastest selling PC game
all time, I believe.
Of all time, ever. Yeah.
Made
6 million, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, in 1 week, which is unbelievable. I think 1.2 million came from the WoW subscribers because they did a little thing. If you subscribe to WoW for a year, you got Diablo free for free, which was very clever. So they basically got 1.2 million subs in Warcraft for a whole year, which is quite funny because that's probably more than what Old Republic's got in one go. But anyway, but yeah, but then you got to think there were 6 million people trying to play the game at the same day, at the same time, and obviously all the servers just crashed and everyone went mad, didn't they? And there was this Error 37 thing, which...
But this argument, I mean, they must know there's going to be massive demand. So
yeah, I don't think they care that much. Obviously, they're a bit bothered. They've lost face a little bit, but you've just sold 6 million copies.
Exactly.
You know, it's fixed now anyway. There's been a patch, needs a few more tweaks here and there, but the game's perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine a couple of days later. You know, just everyone goes mental because they couldn't play on day one, which they do have a valid point. It's that would annoy me, but it's not a single player game.
Do you know as well? I mean, whether it's because I'm of a certain age or something, I don't really get annoyed with things like that. I accept that it's never going to run 100% smoothly from day one these days, you know?
Yeah, every game needs patches, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But I think everyone's being their bonnet was that it's a single player game. How dare they put this new, you know, type of authentication in there? That's what it all was. It was all to stop piracy.
Yeah.
But it's not. Diablo's about running around with 4 of your friends, you know, and doing the same thing over and over again, killing stuff and getting loot and, you know, and trying to play it like...
Well, mind you, there is a bit of a discussion there for maybe a future, because I had a bit of an issue with a particular game just this week with the cloud saving, you know, thing, and I effectively couldn't continue with the game because the cloud was down. Yeah, so there is an issue there, but
so maybe I'm more...
I just said.
As a PC gamer, though, maybe I'm more accustomed to it, because I know if, you know, Age of Conan's got downtime from 6 till 9 a.m., then fair dues, I know I'm not going to play that time.
Yeah, but this cloud issue I had was just sporadic. It decided just not to be working at that particular point that I want to play the game. Do you know what I mean? There was, you know, that was the fact. It was just not working, you know?
Yeah, so I suppose... Sorry, Ben, go on.
Yeah, that's right. Carry on, yeah, that's fine.
No, I was just going to say, I suppose as well, that could be a topic because, you know, it's fine if you're connected to the internet and if you can download the patches, like, but if, say, for instance, like Fallout New Vegas, which was buggy, you know, as hell, if you can't get access to download the patches, you're kind of stuffed, I suppose, aren't you?
Yeah, that's been something I spoke about before. I think like Formula 1 was one more got me real like that as well. Because it was such a broken game at launch, same as Fallout. You know, if you didn't have the internet, if you didn't have any access to any of that, you know, you're screwed basically, aren't you?
Well, I'm telling you now, I've got friends who play those games without internet, so there's no way they could have had patches.
That's unbelievable. So with the Formula 1 game, I was so excited for that, and then, you know, you're racing around. Do you remember with the pit stop bug?
Well, no, I remember it, but only because I've heard it, but I've never played it personally. But was it something ridiculous like... did it not like make you lose a certain amount of laps, or was it or the opposite?
No, you'd be in first place and you go, right, I'm going to go pit in.
Oh no, there was about a 5-minute wait or something, wasn't
it? Yeah, it'd keep you there for over a minute, and then all the other cars would go past you.
Just for a challenge, that was all it was.
Oh, brilliant!
And the excuse there was it Codemasters' first attempt? Is that right?
It was Cody. Well, you could argue that they were using the grid engine, and you know they've used all that before, but yeah,
that was what they said at the time, though. But has it been fixed since then? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, they fixed it with the next version, which introduced more bugs. It was amazing.
I suppose a more recent... I've never played Skyrim, I have to say, because I'm not really into RPGs that much, but, you know, Skyrim, I mean, the whole PS3 sort of situation where you'd get sort of 60, 70 hours into the game, and then effectively it kind of be broken, from what I hear.
It is. It's where we're going, though. I mean, as I say, for you, I'm quite shocked, really, that you're saying you've got 2 friends who don't connect it to the internet. Have they just not got the internet?
They just don't do online gaming. It's the way they are, for some reason. Just it's never been a part of them. I think perhaps they still have couch gaming or whatever, you know. It's just a bizarre... I mean, I can't imagine not being online, personally, but for them, no.
That's where the companies are, though, isn't it? If you're not online, you're not going to make them money, because they don't care about that.
That's another subject.
Well, yeah, and especially if you know, some of the rumours that are coming out, and I can't understand if, you know, I believe that this would be true, but potentially I've heard rumours that the new Microsoft console you have to be connected to an internet connection constantly, and this is all speculation, obviously, but you know, if that's the case, aren't they going to kind of cut out a hell of a lot of their market? You know,
no, they will. They'll kill a lot of people who want to. You know, a lot of people wouldn't even bother buying it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we've got something in the news a little bit later on that will stop me buying a particular product if it goes ahead. So, I mean, that's the way it's going. Adverts are a bit of an issue and all this sort of stuff, online connection is all a bit of an issue, I think,
Yeah.
I'll have arms open wide and tells everyone, come back to PC gaming. We're still here. We're still here. Still brilliant. Still the best. All right, well, Diablo 3, obviously you guys don't care about that at all.
It sounds good. Sounds good. It's like Terra sounds good.
No, if you liked Torchlight, did anyone play Torchlight?
Like 10 minutes of it.
Brilliant. It's that type of game. There is actual word of it coming to consoles as well. The big thing, which I think it may or may not, is that Diablo 3 does have, basically has its own eBay, which isn't live just yet.
Yeah.
It's the live auction house, basically. So if I find a piece of loot in the game, which is particularly good, I could then go on and say, right, I want a tenner for that.
What, in real money?
Yeah, real money transfer. And this is where it's going to get quite dirty, really. And that
God, I can imagine the eBay disputes. People who've got stiffed because they haven't received their, big sword or whatever it is.
Sword of 1,000
give bad feedback.
Yeah,
it didn't come quite as packaged as well as I thought it would.
It's crazy. But it's crazy. I mean, it's not live yet, but I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, just to watch what happens. There'll blatantly be a story within a week, like somebody buys a hat for £1,000. And it's just going to go mad. But that kind of stuff is excellent. It's brilliant to sit and watch. And if it means that the system didn't work for about a week, then who cares, because the whole reason why they've done all this is so nobody goes on and cheats and finds the best weapons and duplicates them 50,000 times and makes that whole thing pointless.
Are you telling me that they will make it 100% fail-free?
No.
There you go. It's a pointless exercise.
There's always someone will get around it somewhere, but it's fun to watch anyway.
I mean, you wouldn't go on one of those auction things, would you?
I wouldn't go and buy anything. No, I'll try and make some cash out of it. Why not? I'm sure there'll be some sweatshop somewhere. Someone will open up their own little place, wouldn't they? Just be play Diablo all day.
Yeah, in China or
Brilliant. All right, my last game then I'll probably go for is Everybody's Golf on the PlayStation Vita.
Well, I'd like to play that.
It's actually I saw it. It got reduced in price last week. It was $11.99 brand new, along with a couple of other Vita games. So I thought, well, I can't say no to that, and I do like a bit of golf games. And yeah, it's been a brilliant game. I commute to work every day. It takes me about 40 minutes, and that's a good 18 holes. 18 holes on the golf game, and it's just really good fun. If anyone's ever played the Everybody's Golf games, they're a lot more light-hearted than the Tiger Woods.
I was going to say,
isn't it?
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more cartoony.
Sorry, I'm just reading off the script there. It's more cartoony.
It's definitely more cartoony. Tiger Woods is very much a bit more serious, a bit more based in the real world, isn't it? With Everybody's Golf, sort of the ball catches fire. You've got random sort of anime girls and things who you can buy them hats and unlock shoes for them, all that kind of weird stuff, but kind of gamey. And you get the extra floaty balls and things like this.
Sorry, Ditch, have you tried it online at all?
I haven't. No, that is one thing I do want to try. It's got.
Have you got the original? Have you got the Wi-Fi version, Vita only? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which you can use anyway, can't you? I suppose. Can you play online games in free Wi-Fi zones?
I can. What I do, my phone. I've tethered it to my phone.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just use the 3G on my phone, and away I go.
Just wondering whether it worked all right, but if you haven't tried it, I suppose you don't.
Haven't tried it yet. No, 3G in my area is not brilliant, so I didn't. That's one of the main reasons I didn't get the 3G one.
Okay.
But no, online does look quite cool. It's got what many games don't do, and I actually really like. It's got a lobby system.
Oh, all right.
So you walk around with like a little avatar, and you can talk to people, and then you can say, "Oh, actually, do you want to have a game now?"
Oh, right, a bit like Home, PlayStation Home.
Yeah, just like a little hub to go in. You can wander around with like a little character who you can, choose his haircut and all that kind of stuff, and go talk to people and say, actually, do you want to fancy a game? They're okay.
See, I like that idea of a hub. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, I do like that idea of walking around doing that. I don't know why. It's a bit strange, isn't it? The thought of walking around in a virtual space. eyeing up other avatars. It's a bit strange about it, but I do like that idea.
It sort of builds community a little bit as well, though. You know that person. Oh yeah, he was pretty cool. We played the other day. It's not just a name.
Yeah.
And because do you communicate through preset kind of text, or because there's a microphone on the Vita, isn't? I haven't got one personally yet. I was tempted, but I don't really play many handheld games in the house because if I want to play, like I play on PS3 or Xbox. But do you communicate like via the microphone, or
I believe so. There was I've not tried mic, but when I did walk around, there were some preset things you could say. I think you could do like little sort of smiling and dancing type things to make him animate.
Say I'm just thinking back to PS Phantasy Star Online, like
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Phantasy Star. You could walk up to someone who was Japanese, couldn't you?
Yeah,
and you could communicate with each other because there was the predefined things. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of Demon Souls and Dark Souls. You know, you've got your gestures and things, stuff like that. Yeah,
which for a little golf game,
it's wicked.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, superb.
I definitely recommend people looking at that now because I think a price point with the Vita games has been a bit of an issue, hasn't it? And walking into game, you'll see Uncharted for like £45, which is a lot for a handheld title.
Yeah.
Pre-owned $37.99. It's always a good deal. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I still want to get, because I haven't got any Vita games in actual proper physical form yet. And I think I'd like the idea of paying $11.99 for that. I don't know why, but you know,
in that film, with $11.99, if you had the box, you're not going to get that for trade. They wouldn't give you $11.99 on trade, more than likely. And it's about a sweet spot. You keep it forever, but great, keep it forever. Right, so that's what I've been playing. So, Fordy, what you been playing then?
Cool. I mean, it's pretty much well known that I tend to start a lot of games and never really finish many, but this week in particular, I've sort of stuck with a few games that I do enjoy, and I've played a couple of games that I've actually managed to complete. In fact, looking down the list, there's only one game I've managed to complete, but I've actually played something different for a change. But I've done Pinball FX2. Have any of you guys played it at all?
I played it very briefly when I did have my 360. It's an awesome game. I love the pinball games.
Of course, you got rid of your 360, didn't you?
I haven't actually played that, but I'll give it a go based on your recommendation.
Well, it's brilliant. I mean, I've got every table that's available. I think it's maybe 24 or 25. I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot of tables, but the good thing about Pinball FX is that it's not realistic in the sense of recreating a real pinball table. You've got different tables that can allow the programmer to go mad with them. Balls flying all over the place or random things happening. So, but there's some really good tables on there, and in fact, it's a good game to sort of maybe get challenges going if you want to do some high score challenges, that sort of thing. Cool. I mean, I'm pretty good at it. Look at me blowing my own trumpet. I'm quite good at it in the sense that I've got a few tables that I'm quite good at. Like I've got top scores, quite a few million on them, and
Have they managed to license proper tables yet? Because I used to love like the old Addams Family table and Elvira. All back in the arcades.
Just off an offshoot of that, all these tables are completely fictitious. Every single one. Right, so you've got Marvel tables they've gone to town with. You've got I don't know, Rocky and Bullwinkle, to think of one off the top of my head. Lots of different like franchises of things, that they've got these mad tables running, and it's totally unrealistic. But the balls themselves run pretty well. They run really good. But in a sense of how the tables work, they're totally fictional. Totally unrealistic, get mega scores on a lot of them. But what you're talking about there, Ditz, there's a new download on the 360 that is it's called Pinball Arcade, actually. That at the moment they've got 4 tables on there, which I've got as well, and it's got like the Black Hole from 1981, the Bally Midway stuff. And that particular game is like proper licensed tables. Even the sound effects are spot on. Real bloody.
That would be quite cool.
Yeah,
that would be quite cool.
Absolutely brilliant. I've only got one person on my friends list who owns it.
I suppose they could sell them boards for quite a lot as well, though, couldn't they?
Well, you could actually own them. They're worth a fortune. But they've got 4 tables on there at the moment. That's diverse. I'm digressing there. But that, if that's what you're looking for, then you should maybe check that out. The Pinball Arcade is very good.
I'll have a look at that. Because it's like, was it Pure Pinball? Sort of an older one there.
A PlayStation, wasn't it? Pure Pinball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that as well. Yeah, that was pretty good. But I mean, obviously, it's all moved on a bit now, isn't it, with the processing power of today's machines and that, you know.
And does Pinball FX have like an auto log system? So like it pop up say if so and so's got a better score than yours, or you know that kind. Just so kind of gives you that extra boost to think, oh right, okay, I'm going to beat that. Bastard,
it has
you know?
the best system going. The leaderboard system is superb. Very much like you say, an autolog, very much like Need for Speed, isn't it? Or Trials. If you're playing, you can sort of get an idea of who's where. It works in the sense if you're scoring a game, it will sort of log your weekly scores. It will tell you, oh, you've nearly beaten your weekly score, and then it will sort of tell you you've beaten it if you do. But then what will then happen is it will say, you've got such and such, you've beaten their weekly score. You know, it sets a real good challenge.
Oh, cool.
That feature needs to be in every single score chase game.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what's the other one? Very few have done it. I mean, I know that the Pac-Man Championship did that, didn't it, as well? That sort of, I think, pretty much perfected that as well. Am I right in saying that? I don't know. The Championship Edition, have you played that? I don't know.
Yeah, brilliant game.
And that had a similar scoring system that as you're playing, it sort of puts you under pressure because you can sort of see at the top of the screen that, you're near someone's score or something. This works very, very similar. Really addictive. I don't get to see too much of it because my scores are so high. No, there are a few tables that I'm not so good on, but it's a game that seems to click with me for some reason. I don't know why, it just does. I mean, it really does.
You're a pinball wizard, obviously.
Pinball?
Sorry. Pinball wizard? Cheesy joke, sorry.
He's a pinball wizard.
I would just like to tell you that there's plenty of space for jokes like that.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah, that's that. I mean, you guys should check it out. I'm surprised you're not into pinball games, no?
Not really, if I'm honest. But I mean, like say, based on your recommendation, I'm definitely going to give that a blast. Sounds cool.
Just download it. You can download you can download individual tables. I think they're about 200 Microsoft points each. I think. But
okay.
No, maybe a little bit more actually, because you can usually download a whole pack for 800 points. So I think it's a little bit more per table. But I mean, I've got every single one. I've not really put much time into all of them, but I will I will get good at all of them in the end. But it is such a good, definitely for setting challenges to yourself or whatever. It's definitely a game to have.
I do have to bring it up with Pinball FX2 as well. If anyone's running the Windows 8 beta, or is thinking about getting Windows, it has to be on PC. It's his PC thing. It's built in. Pinball FX2 is built into Windows 8.
Yeah, but obviously the bog standard set of tables, I take it.
Yeah, it is, and you've obviously got to buy stuff like normal, but instead of Solitaire's still built into your Windows, but Pinball FX2 is installed straight away.
You say that because I remember. I mean, I used to actually be into PC games, but we're talking sort of 1997. And do you remember there used to be? In fact, no, before then, there was always that pinball game that was built into the.
You could find it in Word.
Oh yeah.
So maybe it's for some reason they think that everyone likes playing pinball. I don't know, but
what was it? You had to write blue, then make it blue. Remember the old tricks in Office? Or am I just speaking magic now? There was hidden games in Office 97. That was quite a while ago.
Was there really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you went into Excel and did a certain formula, you'd get a flight sim.
Oh, right. That's pretty good. What, Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Well, it was a bit worse than that. It was a lot worse than that. That was college, pretending we were doing work. But yeah.
Well, that's it for pinball, though. I mean, definitely check it out. It's good.
Cool.
The other thing that, I mean, it's a couple of weeks ago I played it. I don't know if you guys, are you into The Walking Dead at all, or?
Watched every one of the series. I haven't read the comics, but the first series was brilliant. Second series, just the Waltons or something, wasn't it?
Well, I absolutely adored the first series. I think did it run over 6 episodes, I think, or 8 episodes?
Yeah, I loved the first series as well. I haven't watched the second series yet, but...
Well, I've seen the first episode of the second series, and that's as far as I've got. For some reason, I don't know why, it's not clicking with me, but I'll obviously try it again. But this particular game, it's out on PC as well, isn't it, Ditz? Yeah?
It is, yeah.
Have you played it? No?
I watched Alicia playing it, actually.
Okay. It's very, very good. I mean, it's by Telltale, who do these adventure games quite well, I think. They're a little bit like a point and click, sort of game. But it's sort of like a third realisation of the Walking Dead world, because you've obviously got the comics and then you've got the movie. The movie. I'm making that up, aren't I? You got the TV series.
There will be a movie, I'm guessing.
There will be, yeah. Okay, but just we pretend I said that in a year's time. But I mean, you got the TV series, and this is like another take. It's sort of like split in between. It's based upon the Walking Dead universe, but like, is it running at the same time? I think it is in a different part of the. I'm not really sure, but it's a really, really good adventure game.
I think they collaborated with the writer, didn't they? And it is part of the story.
That's right. He's heavily involved in it, and to be honest, if you actually give it a go, I think you will like it better than the TV series. I think it comes across really well, presentation-wise. Well, I'm playing it on the PlayStation. I got the you get like a season pass on the PlayStation, so I think it works out being about £3 an episode, and it's going to come out every month. Once a month, for 5 months or whatever it's going to be. But it's really, really good. I mean, it's a new take on... have you played any of other Telltale's adventure games?
The Monkey Island.
They did Back to the Future as well, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. The Future's very good, actually. That's really good. But I think this is even another level up, to be honest. It's very, very good. It's got elements of making decisions, while you're playing, and it's going to... I think at the end of the day, it's going to be really... it's still a set path in what happens in the storyline, but the decisions you make sort of gives it a bit of a different outcome as it goes along.
That was what was interesting. When I was watching her play, it was like she was doing something. It was like so-and-so remembers that you're nasty or whatever, and you think, oh, what does that mean?
It tells you whilst you're playing, because it has like a... How can I word it? It has a a voice. I can't believe word it. A voice tree. What do they call them? A speech tree or whatever. You get the choice of 4 or 5 different. No, actually, 3 or 4 different options of what you can say to the characters you're talking to. Mm-hmm. Bit like Mass Effect, that sort of thing. But I've heard a few people talking about it, and it seems that no matter what you say, I think it pretty much still at the end of that particular chapter still ends up being very much the same. It's just how you get there.
Brilliant. So it's going to be a Mass Effect ending.
I have no idea. I've not played Mass Effect 3. I don't know. But the difference is, I mean, if you take it per episode, I know for a fact you can save certain people. So within that episode, I know that the story can be different because there are people who die, for instance. So if they die at that particular point, they're not going to be there, are they, by the end of that episode? So it must make a difference in the long term. And at the end of it, when you actually complete it, it's only about 2 hours long, for an episode. And once you complete it, it gives you a what's coming next in episode 2. It's really quite cool. So obviously that would make a difference to what you did in that game. Whether it carries it across in a way that it makes a big difference, I don't know.
Hopefully it does. I mean, it sounds interesting. It's quite an original idea if they can pull it off. I mean, has that made you go in and go, actually, it's only a couple of hours, I'll try and do it differently, or are you trying to stick with one story?
Well, no. I know for a fact that once I complete, I'm going to stay as I am now, and I'm going to. I'll wait every month, and I'll get every episode, and I'll go with the flow. You get some quite good choices you have to make as you're playing, and some choices that really affect you. In fact, But what I'll do is I'll get to the end, and I'll play it how it pans out. But I would definitely, to me, there's replay value because I'll definitely go back. I know I will, and try and make different decisions. I'll just do the opposite, I'll be a complete arse.
Renegade.
I like the idea of that because you can, the choices you can make, you can be a complete and utter tosser. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I've heard that there's some pretty difficult choices in terms of whether you save somebody or let them die, or let them die.
This is the issue because the choices that I won't spoil it. I mean, the choices I made it as if I put myself in that situation. Look, if I was in that situation, it's pretty much how I play games. If there's children involved in games, I'll always save them. It's a fact. It's the way I'm built for some reason. That's what I'll do. And in this particular game, that's the choice I made at certain points. But I've heard that if you make the other choice, the child survives anyway.
They haven't got the guts to go through with it.
No, that's what I mean. And it would have made it maybe a little bit more, a bit more interesting perhaps if they went, but if you, going my way, the other person dies. So they've obviously, perhaps you can't kill children, I don't know, or whatever. Not that you kill, perhaps you can't let children die. I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard that there's maybe 2 or 3 points in the game where you can choose what to do, like big choices, and the ones that I've made, hearing what other people have said, it makes no difference.
Maybe I'm a little bit sick and twisted, but I'd love to see games go that extra line, take that extra step.
I think you're right. It's all fictitious, isn't it? At the end of the day, if you're going to let a child die, it's not because you're a bloody child murderer, is it? I mean, it's checking out how the story goes. We all watch murder film. We all watch horrors. We all watch all of that. It's no different, is it?
No, I mean, some great books and films and all sorts. If there wasn't that moment when you go, oh my god, that's horrific, there wouldn't have been some brilliant movies, would there?
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, Chris.
Sorry, no. So it kind of ups the stakes as well, doesn't it? Really, I mean, if you see what's on the line, and I suppose like if you think of a film like The Road, and it's sort of like that. And from what I've heard a little bit about The Last of Us, the story where I believe it's your daughter, is it? 'Cause I haven't heard too much about it, but
this is Rockstar, isn't it?
No, this is Naughty Dog. Yeah.
Oh, Naughty Dog. Okay.
This is the new Naughty Dog game. So, like people who did Uncharted and everything, and from what I'm hearing, that you are essentially looking after this girl, and she's in real danger. Sort of like The Road, and so it kind of ups the stakes if bad things can happen. So it motivates
it's quite important that they go. At the end of the day, I think it's quite important that you investigate those avenues. I think it is.
Well, I mean, people say the medium of game needs to grow up, and I think we're ready for it. But then you'll get people who would start screaming and shouting, "Oh my god, it's just a game, and it can't do that. You can't do that. What about the children?" But it's
I think game is the word game is what creates the problem, isn't it?
Interactive entertainment. And
I hate that as well. Every time I think of that, I always think of like Heavy Rain. I don't know why, but I do.
Free reactive eyes entertainment.
Now Shenmue's a different story. Man.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
Just going on a complete aside, did anybody enjoy Heavy Rain? Did you guys enjoy it?
I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed... Oh, sorry, Diz, I sound like I had to completely utterly, but I preferred Fahrenheit.
No, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
See, I never played that, but that sounded interesting to me. But I didn't get on with Heavy Rain particularly. I finished it, but I can't say I enjoyed it
The
particularly.
only issue I had with Heavy Rain, this is honest to God, right? I remember at the time thinking, this is great, you can make all the choices you want, do all this, all that. But it's little things like, you still had to do certain things in certain order, to progress the storyline. And I remember, I think at the beginning of the game, you sort of wake up and do that. You've got to do all of that, shaving shit, all of that. And the issue I had was, hold on a minute, I want to go for a dump. My point is that I wanted to choose to go and dump. Now, I wanted to also choose not to shave. I also wanted to choose to go outside in my pants. But you couldn't do. In other words, the freedom of that game was just not.
It's like the game was playing you rather than you playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you're very right there. And the end. I couldn't believe that was the murderer. That's what got me.
Could you not be that because you didn't know it was going to be the murderer?
Because you played at him a few scenes back, and he was all worried about, trying to find the person and all this.
So you're right, because I liked that character as well, and then I had to instantly hate that character.
And then his shadow was a bit too thin to be him as well. I know shadows can skew, but that was a bit much.
Yeah.
My lasting memory of Heavy Rain was the whole sharing part, and you're sharing like the bloke and everything, and then you dry him off with your towel, and obviously using the 6-axis to do it. And that kind of, my wife walked in at the time, and I was doing that motion when he's drying himself, and basically you've got the 6-axis controller, and it's by my lap. And I'm sort of like jiggling it up and down with this kind of semi-naked bloke on the screen. And she comes in and she goes, "What the hell are you playing?" And it's just a game. I'm not, So anyway, that was my lasting memory of Heavy Rain.
If you take it, I mean, production-wise, it was pretty good and it was great, all of that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it just didn't. It did not let you. It did not produce in the end, did it? What it promised, it did not. It did not follow it through.
Graphically, it's outstanding.
It is, and it still is.
And it had tone, and it had a tone and atmosphere, but no, it just didn't deliver what, I think the intention was.
The writing wasn't strong enough, and the ideas weren't there. But I think with that engine and somebody who can write, they could have made something fantastic.
Absolutely.
But I'm sorry, I took you off topic there. Let's talk about Heavy Rain.
There we go. We should have had a Peter Molyneux doing the story.
Oh God! There'll be unicorns, and they'll all have an acorn. No.
Okay, what's up next? I've got a couple of. Have you seen the new Sega vintage collections that have come out for the 360 and PS3? I believe.
Yes, I'm very interested in these. I have to say, because like I said, I like my retro stuff, and even though I already own Wonder Boy, Monsterland, and Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap on the Master System, I'm probably still going to get these versions.
Well, I tell you what, the fact of the matter is that you say you own Wonder Boy, but the best version of Wonder Boy Monsterland is the arcade version, and I'm guessing you don't own that.
No. No.
It's actually my favourite game. My favourite Wonder Boy is that one. And to get this on, one of the downloads, there's obviously 2 downloads. On one of them you get 3 Wonder Boy games. So you get Wonder Boy Monsterland, the arcade version. You get Wonder Boy in Monster World for the Mega Drive, and you get Monsterland 4, which is previously never been released over here. I think it's never actually came out of Japan. So that was quite interesting because I played that a little bit today. A brand new Wonder Boy game, although it's not in the title Wonder Boy, so it's a bit weird. But so that's the first set, and on the other set you get Alex Kidd in Miracle World, which is the Master System game. You get a Shinobi game. It's just gone from me. I can't think what it's called, but it's a Shinobi game. And you get Super Hang-On, which I think is absolutely brilliant, the arcade version. Did you guys ever play that back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Mm. Oh, I loved it.
With the motorbike?
Yeah.
In the arcade, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And I've not put too much time in it, but I've played like the arcade game quickly because nostalgia reasons, and I'm a bit of a retro freak myself. But they seem pretty good. They're 800 Microsoft points each. It equates to about, about £2.30 per game, I suppose, if you look at it like that. It's not too bad. There are a couple of classics. And, to actually get to play this new Wonder Boy game, this new Monsterland or Monster World game, it's quite a tasty little set you can download. But I'm going to play a little bit more. I haven't played it much yet, but they're really, really good. Presented really well. I don't know if you remember, have any of you guys got the Final Fights on XBLA?
Yeah. The Final Fight, yeah.
Yeah, so it's sort of presented similar to that. It's not quite as well presented, but it's very similar where you see like the console sitting there in front of you and you sort of shift to the right and it'll bring it up in front of you, and it presented very, very well. And at the end of the day, for that sort of price, and I've said end of the day 3 or 4 times now, I've just worked out. If we can cut those out, that'd be really cool.
Staying in.
I can't stand it. I thought to myself, whatever you do today, don't start doing the end of the day. I can't stand it.
I do that,
Yeah, But I did it again then for a 5th time. No, go for it. It's really good. It presented really well, and to get that I would pay 800 Microsoft points just for that one game alone. Wonder Boy and Monsterland, the arcade, absolutely brilliant. It's funny when you play it. Bearing in mind, what was it, 1987 probably, and I remember just putting 10p's in that, going out of fashion. But I remember even just playing it. I haven't played it for years, and just playing it. Remembering all the little secret areas. It's weird how it's embedded. That's 25 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is
crazy.
scary, isn't it, when you go back to the old games and you die in the same spot?
Yeah, exactly. Or just knowing, there's certain bits where you can sit and just bits where the enemy can come and get you and it knocks you off the ledge, then it gives you something stupid like 300 coins. I remember all of that. It's just amazing to really nostalgic, Give it a go. Give the trial a go anyway,
No, that's good. I think I was 5 when that would have come out then. I think I was just getting my VIC-20.
How old was you, Chris?
Oh, blimey. Well, when did you say it came out?
1987. Yeah, 86 was Wonder Boy, wasn't it? 87 was Wonder Boy.
Oh, I'd have been 10 in 1987 then.
I'd have been 11. Oh boy, the room. Okay, on to the next one then. I've got a couple more, then we'll move on to you, Chris, yeah?
Okay, cool.
Vita time. I haven't put anywhere near enough time in the Vita. In fact, me and you, Ditch, remember a couple of weeks back we tried setting this game up.
Yeah, you're kind of cursed, aren't you?
I'm definitely cursed. I can't mix with other human beings when it comes to multiplayer gaming. But we tried a couple of weeks back to play Wipeout 2048, and I've got to say, this game is unbelievable. Visually, it's incredible. I think it's visually the best game from launch for the Vita, in my opinion. I've obviously not seen everything, but I played a few demos and I played Uncharted, and for some reason I'm not particularly taken by the Uncharted game, and yet I love the Uncharted games. But Wipeout, honest to God, I think it looks PlayStation 3 like, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very close. It's very, very close.
We know it's not. We know it physically can't be. Yeah, but it's not far off. And Wipeout's Wipeout, isn't it? If you like Wipeout games and you've got a Vita, play this game. One day we'll have a little bit of a multiplayer. We'll try it again. But we had all sorts of connection issues and patch issues. In fact, in the end, I had to re-download the whole bloody thing, which is about 2.5 gig or something? I don't know. Something.
Yeah, that was a fun one where they decided to have maintenance, was it? They downtime at that point, and then you downloaded the patch, which then corrupted and
the whole install that I had previously. But in the end, I got it downloaded, and I've just tried it. I've tried it online a couple of times last week, and absolutely brilliant.
They've had issues with that game from the start. Like, just you had that problem as well. When it first came out, I was all out for playing it. I was going through the single player, but every time I'd try the multiplayer, it would lock me off with some network error.
Yeah,
and it was I don't know what was wrong, but then you lose the buzz, don't you? And you're like, well, I don't want to play that anymore.
Well, I think it's funny you say that. You lose the buzz, but then if you're like me, where I haven't put any time into the single player, I really haven't, and then you go back into it, it really blows your socks off visually. It really takes you back. You think, no, actually, I'm looking at this now from a point of, couple of months. How long is it? 2 or 3 months is it down the line, or whenever it is? Probably longer. I'm losing track of time. But
that's February, was it? No, that might have been
3 or 4 months or whatever. Yeah, but you see it there, and you think, this really is something special. Really, and it's a shame it's got that little kink in, the beginning of it. The fact that you couldn't get online. It's a bit of a kink in its.
It is a beautiful game. The sound of the music as well is superb. Wipeout always have some epic soundtracks.
Again, a lot of people go, well, it's same as everything else, same as PSP, same as PlayStation when they come out or whatever, But that's the point. It is the best you can get for that particular piece of hardware, See, I'm finding with handheld gaming, like Wipeout is brilliant. It's brilliant when I'm sat at home on the couch or sat on the loo, I'm playing it. That's at work.
At work on the loo. But although what I find when I'm commuting, because you kind of, you're getting jiggled about a little bit, aren't you, wherever you're on, I find it difficult to play games like that.
Yeah, you're probably right. It must be really difficult. Yeah.
It is a bit, and you'll get the glare from the sun, and the Vita screen's not brilliant with glare at all. So with when I play my more handheld games, I do like my slower paced games. Like the golf is just great. You can press a button, sort of stare off into the distance, and then come back again.
Absolutely, and it saved it per shot. I take it on that tip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that works really well.
If it's too complicated with handheld, that's where my brain just. If I'm doing other things, that's where you.
But you play portable gaming differently to how I play. I play portable gaming actually in the front room on the couch. I don't ever take stuff around with me. I've never been that way inclined for some reason. I don't know.
That's probably a topic thing, but I think that's where Nintendo get it right, because they'll do like their Pokemons, their slower sort of RPGs, and they're perfect. Because all you got to do is walk forward and press the button every once in a while.
Yep. Absolutely. Shall I finish off with the last game?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah. Have you guys ever heard of Top Spin 4?
Once or twice, maybe.
Heard you talk about it sometimes,
yeah.
I almost got off. A bit addicted to it, really. I mean, it's my go-to game. I love it. I don't even play the single player. I just play the online 2K challenge mode. I just adore this game. It is the perfect tennis game. In my opinion, there is not a game that comes close. I've always been sort of Virtua Tennis, really, originally, and the pinnacle of that. I mean, the Dreamcast games were superb.
I love them.
Absolutely superb. But it's arcadey. I accept that. But moving on, Virtua Fighter. See, I'm talking absolute nonsense. Virtua Tennis 3 is the pinnacle of those games. But since then, they had like 2009, dropped the ball a little bit. And then obviously the latest one, was it 4? I think the latest one. This game has just got better and better and better, back from the Xbox and PlayStation 2 days, it is just the ultimate tennis game. But I was for me to be a bit more into gaming, I've thought myself, no, that you're going to have to just pull yourself away from this. It's like bloody crack to me. I don't know what it is, but it just, it's my drug. I love it. But then at the end of the day, it's something like, 6th time, take that out. I love it so much that it's easy for me just to get indoors, I'm going to chill out a bit, turn it on, go online, play it. It's simple, and it is the best reproduction of tennis as far as I'm concerned. No one else I know likes it. No one else I really know. Everyone I've spoken to has gone, well, I prefer Virtua Tennis. It's like, no, I feel like saying you're wrong, but that's obviously, I'm not that way inclined. I'm not like that. It depends what you want in a tennis game, but if you want to play a game that is really between arcade and sim, it really is the best game you can buy.
So I used to play Topspin on the original Xbox, I think, when that first came out.
Yeah.
And it was a bit more sim-like, isn't it, than Virtua Tennis?
It's by far more similar, but I suppose if you're gonna, you get people who play FIFA, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you spend hours and hours and hours, and in the end, you become a bit of a pro at it because you've learned every button, you've learned every pattern to create these moves and all that sort of thing. It's a bit like that, but tennis, obviously, to the masses, is not as interesting as football. I understand that, but for me, it's like, this is just so spot on, and I genuinely I'm interested in tennis in the real world, not to play, but to watch, and I'm invested in that. I love all the big events, and to be able to play a game that you can actually put off every single shot. I don't think there's nothing you can do in Topspin 4. You could do everything, and it's the perfect, absolutely perfect. But a few people I've spoken to, like Leon Cox from Kane and Rince, I know he's got it and never got into it. A few other people, they've pretty much always turned around and said to me, I just can't do it. And no disrespect to them, but I think it's because they haven't invested the time like they do on other games.
No, it's the way it grabs them, you know what I mean? Lots of games are like that. People don't bother if there's too much effort. And if it's something where they're not really going to try and they maybe don't have that much of a passion for, they won't bother with it. And then you'll go to the Virtual Tennis where it's like press a button and the ball gets on fire,
Yeah, see, I've moved on from that, I think, for me. But I loved it back in the day, like the Mario games. You remember Mario Tennis and 64 and all that? Great fun games. And in fact, there was more involved in those than there was Virtua Tennis. You do all sorts of spin shots on that, and you could never do that. It was all pretty much one button or one or two buttons, wasn't it, on them? Virtua Tennis. But this, to me, is such fun online. I mean, I think I'm ranked about 250 in the world. I mean, that's not bad, is it?
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Of 250 in the world. No, there's a few thousand, but I mean, it's such a good game.
You get a lot of abuse, don't you? I've always seen you on Twitter, you get abuse messages, don't you, from people quite a bit?
Yeah, I've got issue with that. I mean,
no, that's just me.
Yeah, I've never played you before, but you send me these most smutty, disgusting messages.
Just for a laugh.
I don't know how people get away with that. I don't know why people don't get penalised more for that sort of stuff.
Well, there should be a system, man, on Xbox Live, as long as it can be proven. It's like, right, you're not playing online now for a week.
If I'm going to call someone random, okay, a CUNT, at the end of the day, if I'm going to say that to somebody, Microsoft should easily be able to see that message. There is that. I have done that. Don't get me wrong. There is that system, isn't there, where you send it in saying, "Look, this is."
Yeah, it doesn't. The other person, nothing happens to them, really, does it?
I think all they do is they just stop them to be able to communicate to you, and that is it. I think that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, just block them. Yeah.
But in the end, I won't have anyone to play, will I? I'll be blocking everybody. I'll win every game.
Yeah. So the last tennis game I remember playing was Super Tennis on the SNES.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
It's a bit better than that, but I mean that was really, really good. It had the scaling, was it?
Was that Konami? I remember now. It was that old Taito. I'm trying to remember the graphics now. The old Super Football and things like that. But
yeah, that's it for me anyway. That's all I've really sort of been up to in the last couple of weeks or whatever.
A lot.
Excellent.
Next week it'll be just Topspin 4, but no, it won't be. I'm going to make a conceited effort now. So that's it for me. What about you, Chris?
Very good. I've finished Alan Wake's American Nightmare this weekend. Did you guys play Alan Wake at all?
I briefly played it. I never finished it.
Same here. Well, I didn't briefly play. I got about halfway through, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Alan Wake, then you're pretty much going to enjoy this. It's a shorter version. It's only about 5 hours long, maybe 6. I think the thing with Alan Wake was I really enjoyed it. I liked the shooting mechanic, the lights, sort of aspect, shining your torch, and then wearing the bad guys down and then shooting them. But the thing I did find that there was it got a bit samey towards the end, so I think that's possibly, I don't know if you guys felt that's why you kind of stopped playing, but. Towards the end of Alan Wake, it pretty much was a case of, okay, I'm going into the dark, there are bad guys, and so on and so on. So, but this is a shorter version. It's more action, I think, than that. There's less sort of suspense. In this one, you've got like your evil alter ego, he's called Mr. Scratch, and he's basically Bad Alan, and you've got the same type of things. You can go you can find manuscripts which tell you bits of the story before they happen, which I suppose sets up things that are going to happen, which is pretty cool. And then there's also TVs that you can find. And I think I must admit, the one thing that like the Mr. Scratch character he's quite good. He's kind of like, malevolent kind of bad guy, and he's the TVs that you can find. They're basically he's you guys have you seen the Dark Knight Batman film?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's bits where the Joker's kind of filming himself like with a handheld camcorder, and he's about to kill somebody or whatever, and it's quite threatening. I felt a little bit on edge watching that, because it's kind of like he's playing it for laughs, but then the next minute he's ready to slice somebody's throat open, which it's kind of, it puts you a little bit on edge. The videos,
they did all that live action, didn't they?
Yeah. It is. Cool. Yeah, that's right. Because like there's bits which are live action, and then there's bits which are kind of like the characters in the game, sort of computer generated or whatever. But those parts are live action. So, and those bits I've found them quite unsettling. Like there's a guy and he's sort of strapped to a chair, and like the guy, like Mr. Scratch, is telling you, right, look at this guy, I'm going to do this, that, and the other to him. And then the screen goes blank, and you can just hear the screams, and it's kind of, it is pretty unsettling, like those parts of it.
Old style horror.
Yeah, quite good. Sort of leave it to your imagination kind of thing. The sort of setup is, there's three sort of main areas. You've got like a sort of small town diner, like motel area, which you visit, and then there's an observatory, and you do stuff there, and then there's like a drive-in theatre kind of thing. I suppose that, if you like, there's one criticism you could level about it is that it can be a little bit repetitive, in as much as the conceit is time repeats. Like you do this, and Mr. Scratch kind of like he beats you to saving the day basically, and he sends you back to the start. So you do those three areas, and then Mr. Scratch sends you back to the start. So you're back in the diner area, and you'd sort of like, but you've already been there, and you're trying to convince some of the characters that you've met that you've already spoken to them. And so it's then, and that's the thing, I suppose, the little cheat in the game is that they don't really do anything different. They just revisit the same areas. But saying that, I mean, it was fun, again, the same shooting type mechanics, not saying more action. With this as well, the slight difference was that you could find the manuscripts, but along the way, you can actually find better weapons. So the more manuscripts you find, the better weapons you can actually purchase. Like you can find cases sort of dotted around and stuff like that. So I suppose that kind of encourages you some exploration and finding these manuscripts. And you're going back and doing the same thing, sort of the next day, sort of Groundhog Day type of thing. But can you then build on conversations, or is it just the people have still got their same set whatever they're going to say? Or do they actually weave it into the story, like he's going mad and they're like not trusting him and things like this? Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, it's not really that sophisticated, but the characters have a sense of deja vu. Like they think, I've met you before, haven't I? And then the third time you go back, they're on your side. They're saying, right, okay, I know what's happened, and thank you for sort of like saving me, because these characters end up getting killed, or some of them do. And then when you go back, you kind of go back and save them. So yeah, it is definitely that kind of Groundhog Day feeling. But yeah, I mean, I'd recommend it. I bought it on launch because I think it was the Summer of Arcade, one of their titles, wasn't it, for Xbox? And they were doing that offer. If you bought like sort of 4 games, you basically got 1 free or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, I'd recommend it. I mean, Microsoft, they're always doing sort of deals as well. So I mean, it's been out for a little while, so chances are they're going to reduce the cost of it. So I'd recommend picking it up for sure. Yeah, it was good fun. It's good fun.
No, they recently released them both on the PC about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
So I've been looking at them, going, I may well get into this, because I really do like Remedy. Back with like the original Max Payne and Max Payne 2.
Yeah.
They know how to do story. I mean, even though Max Payne's story was a little bit cheesy, it was still one of the most memorable out of gaming. I can think about, that was a good story. So,
yeah, I was talking to Ben earlier, and I'm going to go back and play that, sort of, because I've got PlayStation Plus plush. Yeah, they're going to rebrand it.
We definitely hope you make a mistake.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
I'm joking.
I've definitely never done this before. You can, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so I got PlayStation Plus, and I've downloaded that. So because 3's out, I've never played 2. I've played 1. I'm going to go in the long way around getting this out. But yeah, I want to go back and play 1, replay it, play 2 because I never have, but people say how good that is, and then go on to 3 and see how that kind of follows up. But yeah, I mean, I would recommend Alan Wake, and if you're a bit doubtful, then just kind of wait, because it's going to get reduced at some point, and I think it'll be 600 points probably. Cause I think it's 1,200, or well, I'm not entirely sure on that, so don't quote me. Then the other game I've been playing is Metal Gear Solid 3 on the HD collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just finished Metal Gear Solid 2 with the HD collection. I had a mixed sort of experience with that, I have to say. It's a game of two halves, and the tanker section at the beginning is classic Metal Gear. I mean, it is really enjoyable. Obviously, when you're playing as Snake, and then you go to the big shell and you play as Raiden, and it
all goes wrong.
Yeah, it just goes downhill, and it's not even playing as Raiden. Even though people think he's a bit of a tosser, it is more so the dialogue. I really struggled with some of the dialogue in that. And I know it's a game and you shouldn't take it seriously, but Jesus Christ, it was hard work in places. So yeah.
It's kind of a relief then to be playing Metal Gear 3.
Oh God, well I've never played it before, see, and that was part of the experience, because people say Metal Gear 3 was a real return to form and a quality game. And the thing about it is that it kind of feels familiar, but instantly kind of like fresh and interesting at the same time. So, it's Metal Gear, you're playing a Snake, and the controls are similar, but at the same time, it's interesting. It's kind of more of an open world setting than, say, you're kind of confined to the big shell or the tanker or whatever. You're in the jungle. There's more sneaking involved with this one as well. Sort of, but yeah, I'm getting on fairly well with that. I've just finished the second boss. I've defeated the Pain was the first one, and that's the guy who shoots the hornets at you. And then there's the second one, the Fear, and he's kind of like. He's got, well, basically they're all psychos, but he seems a bit more psychotic than the others. And he's sort of like a predator. You're in the jungle, and he kind of flying up and down the trees, and just put your thermal goggles on. You can see him in, it's infrared. And in fact, the achievement you get for beating him is if it bleeds, we can kill it, or something like that. Obviously, a reference to Predator. yeah. So yeah, it's cool. I'm enjoying it. I have to say, much more so than Metal Gear 2. But it's very good. Yeah, I am very much enjoying that.
So how does the HD collection sort of hold up there? I've heard good things actually. God. You could even say as a quick take, you can go, well, that's a current generation title.
Absolutely. I mean, I was, saying to Ben, I finished Metal Gear 4 for the first time earlier on this year, and, if, you can almost say, I suppose if you put the two together, you would notice the difference, but if you look at say, Metal Gear Solid 3, some of the cutscenes and whatever, and the game itself, you would think, blimey, that looks like Metal Gear Solid 4. It does look really crisp.
They've done an amazing job on it.
Oh God, yeah. And I mean, I've heard, some of the other HD collections, like, I haven't played them, so this is only my sort of pure speculation, but the Silent Hill collection is a pretty shoddy job from what...
some bad things about that.
Yeah, so it kind of puts me off a little bit, like playing them, but I'll possibly give those a whirl. I've heard that the Devil May Cry is pretty decent.
Eco and Shadow of the Colossus is very good as well.
Yeah, I actually bought those on PlayStation. I downloaded them, sort of digital copies. Yeah. So, because they were doing them, I think, reduced rate. So I was looking at them for a while, and they seem to have held their price quite well.
Did you not play back in the day?
Yeah, I played Ico. Okay. Never played Shadow of the Colossus, so I'm quite looking forward to that. But Ico was a really good game, kind of, again, similar to, I suppose, Journey and Flower, in as much as it's all about the tone.
One of Ditz's favourites, Flower.
I like Flower.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
that...
I have no idea. What the hell does that mean? Even I'm sorry, I'm sounding like right.
My version of it is there's no jaggies.
There you go.
Okay,
Done.
that makes sense. That
No
makes
jaggies.
Yeah, but yeah, it is absolutely beautiful in places. It looks really crisp.
To
and
me,
you could.
though, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
No, you go for it. Go for it, Ben.
No, I was going to say I still have issue with the controllers on those games. I don't know why. I just got.
The motion control.
No, move away from Flower. I'm trying to make it solid.
Oh.
Yeah. I have issue with the controllers. I don't know why. I just don't get on with them. I end up pressing wrong buttons.
No, I'm with you in this, and I'm definitely with you on this. It does take a while to get used to the controls.
It feels like it's typical. I'm about to say now, but it's as complicated as it should be used by a keyboard, because you've got like prone, you've got crouch, you've got all sorts, haven't you?
Mm.
You need more buttons than what it needs.
Easier with the keyboard. Yeah, you're exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they've expanded as well in 3 on the close quarters combat, so that's kind of a little bit extra. But no, I definitely get where you're coming from with that. The controls do take a while.
Now times I set off alarms, right? Through, in my opinion, not my own fault. Yeah. I thought I was sneaking around. All of a sudden, you press the wrong button, it alerts them. It's like, do you know what I mean? Just give it a rest. Then you're trying to run. I mean, they can see where you're running. You can climb up a tree. I'm really upset with playing Metal Gear. Right? But you climb a tree and you think, well, that's it, I've got away. I've run around the corner, they don't know where I've gone, and they can see you. It's like, no way would you know I've come up this tree. But I love all the other bits, little bits like crawling on the ground and seeing like every blade of grass and all that sort of thing. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's good.
Looks the part. Yeah.
And definitely with the HD collections as well, I've noticed that there's like little Easter eggs. So like I've been running around one of the facilities as a disguised as a scientist, and there's little magazines on the tables. Like there's an official Xbox magazine, and there's different things like magazines from countries of reviewing or they've got on the cover Metal Gear Solid 3.
So random porn mags anymore.
There actually is. There's a picture. I've taken some photos and posted them on Twitter, and there's one where there's a woman in a bikini, and it's so. And that's the thing. I mean, Metal Gear 4 in particular, but 3 as well. It's so leering, in terms of I've always described it as like gun porn, kind of like the way Snake goes on about he loves it. He gets a new gun and he's kind of stroking it like he's stroking his. his knob. It is really, it's like that. And then, you're introduced to Eva, and the first thing she does, and I know it's kind of like a spy thing, and it's like James Bond, but first thing she does is she unzips her top, and she gets her baps out, kind of thing. And, she's got a bikini on, but you're encouraged to stare at them. It's like RB, which is like your button to zoom in. And again, I posted on Twitter saying, God, Snake's a right dirty old perv. And then I realised, actually, no, it's me. I'm the dirty perv. Because I'm pressing RB. So.
Metal Gear 4, you could shake the 6-axis as well, couldn't you?
Oh, I bet you went up to that, Chris.
And make them jiggle.
You get your wife to come in looking at that. That's like,
Yeah, that would definitely. I think she'd ban my Xbox or PlayStation if she saw me doing things like that. But to be fair, and again, this is my wife. She sums things up brilliantly sometimes. Like, she's been watching me play Metal Gear 2, and she's not a gamer, so I'll qualify that. She doesn't really know anything about games, but she's got her own opinion. But she's been watching me play Metal Gear 2 and listening to some of the dialogue, and then watching bits of Metal Gear 3, and I'm going to swear now, but she basically say, "What the fucking hell are you playing?" It's like it's so kind of, even she sort of understands that it doesn't make a lot of sense, with different things. But yeah, anyway, I would recommend, because I think you can pick up the HD collection for about 25 quid, maybe less, 20 quid. And it is a quality package. You can get a lot of time out of it. And I haven't tried Peace Walker yet, but I think I'm going to give that one a go once I've finished 3.
Peace Walker on the PSP. You can imagine trying to play Metal Gear with the PSP.
The old right thumbstick.
Oh, it's horrific. Yeah. All right, there you go. Shall we move on to new releases?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand what's going on here. I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it
so we're moving on to new releases of interest. So the new releases of interest this week, these are the games that we're kind of interested in. I know there's probably a lot more games what are coming out, but we're just picking out the ones that we think actually these could be quite good and maybe worth a try. So the first thing we've got down here, we've got Ghost Recon Future Soldier on the Xbox.
Yep.
I remember this from, was it E3 last year, was it? And they showed off the gunsmith thing with Kinect.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's a thing now, isn't it, where you can take the gun apart using Kinect.
That just sounds all sorts of aggravation to me.
Hmm.
No, I don't know. I've not seen it. I've got to be honest. Does it look good, that particular?
It looks pretty funky. I mean, it's basic. I think it's like every single component of the gun, and you can swip them out and get new bits. I guess you unlock them and change them. And
how does it work? How does it actually work that out then? What you're picking up to put into the weapon?
I suppose, like any Kinect game, you hold your hand out for 2 seconds.
You have to wave. You don't wave when you're in the old Warzone, do you?
It's a bit weird, but I don't know. It looks quite cool. You put this down, didn't you, Chris?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I played Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 1 and 2, and I enjoyed them. You know, so I'm kind of just intrigued by what they do with this. And I played a bit of the multiplayer at Eurogamer last year. I went and had a game on it, and it looked good. I mean, it looks pretty nice from what I've seen of some screenshots and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll give that a blast. Probably won't play the multiplayer, but I'll give the single player a go. Definitely.
No, I did really like Graw. I prefer probably the older Ghost Recons, Ghost Recon 1 and 2, and even like the original Xbox Ghost Recon was fantastic. Yeah. The first person sort of one. They've switched it, haven't they, for the more modern to a third person perspective. But no, it looks good. I was watching the game trailers review. Reminded me a lot of Graw 2, and even in the review they said that Graw 2 was the better game, which kind of worried me a little bit. But they said that the single player is not brilliant. But the multiplayer is where it's all what it's all about.
Not
which
really about the single player, though, is it? It's not. That
no, and Ghost Recon never has been really. It's going online with your friends and becoming a squad. So it looks like there's loads of features for that there. It'll be a good one to try.
Yeah, definitely, and I will have a look at the Kinect support. It'd be about time if I dusted that off, because I haven't used my Kinect for God knows how long. It just sits on my telly, all upset, and it's like play with me. I'll nod at you.
I play it a little bit more often because I've got like little kid. Well, I've got a little kid who's quite into the bowling and all that sort of thing. So it comes out more often. But I must admit, I've got an awful lot of games that have these extra features with Kinect. I've not even tried.
Better with Kinect.
Oh, I can't stand that there. Oh, I can't stand that label. You have to buy that game even if you have no intention, or you don't even own Kinect, and it says better with Kinect.
Better with Mass Effect 3. Oh. Better with Kinect.
Have you played Kinect with Mass Effect 3?
No.
No. I will give it a try because, like I say, I've got that on my list of games to play. But I did try Halo Anniversary with some of the voice recognition commands, and I have to say that I was playing it online with my friend, and I was laughing my ass off for about probably 2 minutes, just sort of like saying grenade, and obviously you throw a grenade and then reload and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds terrible to me. But
yeah, but it was funny. I don't know what it was, just funny for a couple of minutes, and then I just turned it off, and that was it. It's just novelty factor, I think, isn't it? I don't know if it adds any value to the experience. It's almost as if they shoehorn. We've spent millions and millions of dollars on Kinect. We have to shoehorn it into games just to justify its existence.
But they didn't spend that much on Kinect. I've got a Kinect story later. It annoys me, Kinect does, but
Kinect is not what it was originally, is it? The actual.
No.
That's the most annoying thing. They tricked us about 2 years ago, didn't they?
Do you know what? I actually believed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I believed all of that stuff, and I feel such an idiot for that.
Oh, Milo, we.
No, I showed friends of mine who have no interest in games, and I went, "Look at this. This is the future." I remember doing it, and I'm not usually one for that. I'm not really like that, but it did blow me away.
They did such a great job of it. The smoke screen was perfect, and we all went nuts, didn't we? We were like, "This is amazing!"
Yeah.
And then we got playing crappy bowling games, and waving your hand around.
Well, no, it serves its purpose. As I say, we've had some good times family-wise. It does serve its purpose. But what I'm trying to say is, it's overpriced. That particular bit of hardware was completely overpriced in the end, wasn't it? For what it was.
Yeah, for what it was.
Yeah, for what it was.
I mean,
sorry.
party games. No, I mean, like you say, Ben, party games. You know, you do have a laugh with it. You know, playing. I remember that first time I played Dance Central. You know, with a group of people in the house, and you know, you're enjoying it. It's fun, and but you know, you're not taking it seriously at all. And I suppose it's like that first time you play Wii Tennis. You know, and you think this is amazing. You know, I did anyway. You know, because
absolutely.
You'd never experienced anything like that before, you know, and
honestly, Wii Bowling is by far more precise than the Xbox version. Do you know what I mean? So it's there's no skill involved in the bowling on the 360 version. You know, Kinect Bowling, there is no skill. I don't think. I mean, you have to sort of face in the right direction, but it's hit or miss. You know, you've got a little one running around, you know, and trying to do it. It doesn't pick them up, which surely is its major audience. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
The amount of space that you need for Kinect is absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's just crazy. I mean, no, you know, I can't see how many. There's not that many people have that much space, you know, in their rooms. And if you do, then you have to organise your living room or reorganise your living room. It's crazy, you know. But I think, you know, it's almost like it's perhaps. I mean, we talk about this later on in one of the topics, but you know where gaming's going. But it's perhaps ahead of its time in as much as it didn't.
It doesn't work.
It didn't work.
It did its job. For me, it did its job for the companies. They wanted to extend the lives of their aging consoles, and they've done it. They've squeezed another couple of years out of it, and everyone's happy. They're going to make more money.
Yeah.
Me being grumpy.
We can only thank the Wii for that, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's thank the Wii, everybody.
All right, on the PlayStation 3, we've got here Sorcery.
Yeah.
I think you put that down, didn't you, Ben?
Yeah, I did. And this, I'm not 100% sure what it's all about, but I just we're moving on to another motion controller game here. But I remember this being the big thing for Move. That you can mix your own potions. Am I right in saying that? I must admit I haven't really looked into it, but I think this is the final product, and it's become a bit more of a third-person adventure. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it looks quite Zelda-y, I guess. A bit Harry Potter-y Zelda style.
It looks pretty good, and I'm guessing at certain points of the game you will mix potions, I think. It's sort of a bit under everybody's radar, I think. But
it looks really good, and it was one of the first, I think it was the first game on the PS3 to do like this pre-order system.
Right.
Where you could go in and you could buy it like a month before or whatever, and then it would unlock at a certain time, a bit like Steam, which was quite a cool thing they've added. But no, this was one of the games when you first saw it at that E3 presentation. It was like, yeah, this moves pretty good. And out of all the motion controls, I don't know if you've got Move at all, but Move is the only one for me which kind of works.
Move is actually very, very good. Move is amazing. If it's used correctly, it is spot on. It really is. Like the table tennis, you know, on Sports Champions is.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've got Move, and I've got the Sharpshooter, and I've played a bit of Killzone 3 with it. I don't know if you've done that.
You got the big gun.
I have got the big gun. It makes me feel manly, yeah. And but a big red plastic gun makes me feel ever so good about myself.
Very good, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, you kind of have to recalibrate it on a fairly regular basis to sort of. I mean, you know, with me, it was an interesting way to play Killzone 3, but you can only. I could only do it for short spaces of time because I'd get tired standing up and like holding my arm out for a while. So
you can play that surely sitting down, I'd imagine.
Well, see, my TV is sort of situated sort of at a fairly high level. So again, to point it at the TV, you point where you aim. So I suppose if your TV's lower down, then yeah, you can sit down and do it. But I kind of stood up, and people walking past
arcade style-y. When you
and people walking past my front window probably thought, "What the hell is he doing?" But waving a big red gun around. But yeah, I mean that was interesting enough. I've played the Sports Champions with Move, and it's really accurate. You know, it's kind of 1-to-1, isn't it?
But everything we're saying here, at the end of the day, that's number 7. We're not at all blown away by motion control, are we? It doesn't really bother proper gamers, I don't think.
When motion control does it, when they do it right, nothing can beat it. There is magic. You know what I mean? When a certain thing happens and you're like, actually, I just moved my arm and that happened. There's like your brain gets tricked really briefly.
But we don't really want to do that, do we? We're not really interested in doing that, I don't think.
See, I mean, like Skyward Sword. I don't know if you guys played. I haven't played that yet.
I have 20 hours of that.
Oh wow! I mean, how was that? How was the motion control on that? I heard it was
absolutely brilliant. It is, but you get tired, you get worn out. I've done 20 hours of it, and you get worn out, and you have to calibrate, like you say. You have to recalibrate every so often. Do we need it in the game?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we all grew up in the arcades. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, when you played a light gun game in the arcades, it was for no more than 10 minutes. You know, do you remember trying to complete Time Crisis?
Oh, that was
You were dead. Your arms were dead by the end of it because
I'll tell you what, that worked on the old PlayStation, didn't it? For a home version, I think we actually really enjoyed that. We enjoyed getting those guns out.
and Virtua Cop.
Virtua Cop, the Die Hard one.
Oh, I love that game.
Terminator 2,
The Super Scope.
Aliens as well. There was an Aliens arcade as well.
They were very different games. They were more on rails. They were a bit more arcadey, as in you had 3 lives and away you go. You know, playing like Killzone with the gun seems like the most horrific thing ever because I'm guessing it's not on rails.
No,
So you have to think about where I'm going, and that's too much for your brain.
Also, are you ever really going to trust the control system? Are you ever actually going to trust and think, no, I missed that shot because of me? I don't think so. I don't think it's that precise. I think it's still hit and miss. I think, you know.
No, one of my favourite games of all time is Point Blank.
Oh,
I can sit and play that.
There's no
for
precision
hours,
in that, is there?
But I mean, there's not much else than you and the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's again another fun, isn't it? A fun half an hour. It's so good. I mean, that's a great game, but it's not precision. It's not as if, you know, if you're in the war zone in Killzone, you want to make sure if you don't get that kill, you're going to start doubting the weapon. You're going to doubt your control scheme, aren't you?
Yeah, so I would have preferred it myself as more of it if they'd said, "Oh right, you've got the move. Here's Virtua Cop mode." You know, and that was about learning that this guy comes from the top left, that one comes from over there. You know what I mean? And you slowly get better, don't you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because they did Dead Space. Was it Extraction?
That's good. That's very good.
That was good.
That was Wii, but again, I don't think it sold very well on the Wii. But
then obviously updated for the PlayStation, wasn't it? 3.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The next one. Well, this is one of my choices here. This is a Vita title, Resistance: Burning Skies, and I completely forgot that's coming out on Friday. Which it looks good. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Resistance series actually, but I'm really interested to see what they do with the Vita.
Can I ask a quick question? This is pretty much going to be the first game that's going to really utilise the twin sticks, isn't it? Like,
yes, it's a proper first-person shooter, so you've got your looking and you're walking at the same time.
Because as much as I knock sort of Call of Duty or Battlefield, I don't really, you know what I mean? In other words, we're a bit sick of them. I'm interested to see what it's like on the portable. I think it'd be great if it works, you know?
Yeah, I'm really interested in that. I mean, Resistance 2 was terrible.
Yeah,
it was one of the worst games I've ever played.
Can I take that off my pile of shame then?
I think you can burn it.
What about Resistance 3?
I didn't try it. The
3 is meant to be good.
I've heard good things about 3. Yeah, I've heard good things. I thought 1 was just a generic kind of, you know, it was a launch title, wasn't it, for PlayStation 3?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then 2, was really poor. I didn't like that at all.
But
I've heard
missile launcher. You will only get 1 bullet. So, sorry.
But no, I've heard 3 is good, worth a try. But it's on my rental list. I'll get round to it at some point.
What I'm interested with the Vita version, I think they're going to have competitive multiplayer, which I'm not a big. I don't play them that much really. I'll play Battlefield 3 every once in a while, but I just want to see how they use it. You know, how they use that technology, how they're using the what do they call it again? It's not spot pass, is it? But
the street pass, all of that, and
yeah, how it works with that. Are they going to do?
Still don't really understand all that stuff.
It's
called Near, isn't it? Near.
Yeah, that Near thing. You can unlock different things. I'm sure they'll do stuff with it, but I want to know how they think. Right, how are we actually going to use this technology? Am I going to be able to sit next to someone on the bus and go, right, you know, let's have a multiplayer game?
Yeah, but that's not really going to work, is it? I mean, unless you're on a Wi-Fi connection of some sort.
Yeah.
How's that going to work?
You could ad hoc it. I don't know.
Yeah, but who's going to really be doing that other than you?
It's just me on my own, 30-year-old man in the corner going, play games.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, don't you? It's not going to be until buses have free Wi-Fi. It's not going to happen, is it?
That's true. It's true, but I'm interested in what it's going to be like. I think the story looks stupid. I think you play as a fireman, and then you fight aliens, whatever.
Yeah, but the whole point of actually having a proper first-person shooter on that console on the handheld, actually to be able to go online and experience that, it's quite groundbreaking. If it works, that is pretty damn good, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and it gives us an idea of what COD will be by the end of the year, because Call of Duty will be on there as well.
Well, it'd be mad not to, wouldn't it? I mean, Call of Duty will work. In my mind, will work. There's no reason why it won't work. How would it not work? It can't fail, can it?
It can't fail on that, no.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to look forward to whether again. I probably won't, but it'll probably be £40, £45 straight away. So I probably will wait for that to drop a little bit or to see what it's about. But again, it's an interesting one to watch.
Absolutely.
I put down here. I've got a couple of PC titles. Has to be. As things are in the world of gaming these days, the PC is often a few weeks behind, which is annoying.
What's that?
Really? Why is it annoying? That's quite an interesting conversation.
It is annoying because you guys sit there and tell me everything about what's going to happen in the game, and I go, no point buying it now.
Wait for my shiny version.
Oh, the shiny one. Here's Max Payne 3 coming to the PC, coming home to the PC. What's really interesting with this, well, obviously it's Rockstar's take on Max Payne, and from what I've heard, they've gone away from what Max Payne is and turned it into more of a just kill everything. Okay, Max Payne was kill everything, but story-wise, they've not followed with Max in his way. He's a bit more of a, I think he's an alcoholic and very unlikable, which Max was. He wasn't ever that much likable, but he wasn't that bad. But anyway, what I'm interested with the PC one, apparently it's 35 gigabytes on the install.
Wow.
Mental. Absolutely mental.
So it's going to look phenomenal.
We're looking at probably, 4 times the 360 version in the sense of gigabyteage.
Yeah, easy.
Is that a word? Gigabyte.
I've just made it up.
The crazy thing, World of Warcraft isn't even 35 gig.
Well, yeah, but to me that doesn't mean much. I've never played World of Warcraft, so what does that mean exactly?
Whatever. It's huge. It's freaking huge.
Yeah.
The whole Windows it's 2 Windows operating systems.
Bloody hell.
If you want to put it in that. So, yeah, it's like installing over itself twice, which is, yeah, it's freaking big. Whether that's just because they've really, really done a bad job of optimizing it for PC and they just went, yeah, we'll just dump it on here, or they've made an effort, I want to know, and I'll be obviously sniffing around a lot of PC forums.
I'm imagining it's going to be absolutely mind-bogglingly beautiful.
It should be, hopefully. Hopefully it is. Next one though,
just going back to that. I mean, is it just me, or does it look like Kane and Lynch? The sort of the aesthetic of it, sort of like there's parts of it which it kind of reminds me of Kane and Lynch. The first and the second one, like Dog Days, and I don't know. Is it just me? Or?
Yeah, but I think that's because it's the still shot. You're looking at the still picture, aren't you? And the fact that he's wearing a muscle shirt?
I don't know. It's just
as well.
Yeah, it sort of looks like that.
Yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that. I mean, obviously the gameplay is going to be, I would imagine, a hell of a lot better than Kane and Lynch was, but, it just kind of, the aesthetic sort of like, there's bits where he's walking around, he's got his suit on, and he kind of like got the same type of haircut as one of those characters, but anyway,
I'd be quite annoyed if it turned into that. I know they've already put a cover system in, which I'm not that happy with, because Max Payne never had a cover system, you just dived in slow motion and shot people in the head. That was...
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though, Ditz, if you go back and play, I played it recently, the first one on PSN, I think you'd probably cry out for a cover system, in all honesty.
No,
if you just try it, I think you might think, well, I could do with not pouncing around and diving about like an idiot in that position, because I'd get shot. I would get hurt.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, what it does say, this is Rockstar. If Rockstar are learning anything, like we've got the LA Noire faces, they've now managed to get combat right. GTA 5 is going to be special. Oh,
do you know what? I will not even lie. I love Rockstar games. The last 10 years for me would be, Red Dead Redemption, wonderful. Vice City, wonderful to me. The GTA, I love them all. But seeing some of the video footage of the teaser trailers, shall we say, I've got a feeling that GTA 5 could be something incredible. I really do.
I really hope it comes onto the next generation, but yeah.
I don't think awesome. It is. I think there's still life in the old dogs yet, I think.
Yeah, there's rumours that it's going to be later on this year, but then, they're notorious for sort of like being, speculation and delayed and whatever.
Too much of an audience, I think, to ignore PS3 and Xbox 360, I think.
Oh, yes, yeah. And it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's cheaper for them to produce it on things they already know, don't they?
And I think it will be stunning on those machines. And then obviously you'll get the superior PC version. And I mean that.
Because we can mod.
But it will be
multiplayer and all sorts of.
It will just be incredible. But I think we'll be surprised with what they've even managed to squeeze out of these systems.
Oh, what the developers can do now is nothing short of witchcraft. What they're doing,
it's amazing.
Using like 7-8 year old technology and doing what they're doing it's unbelievable.
It's incredible.
It is unbelievable. The next game I want to talk about was Dirt Showdown. Actually, this was one. I've bought all the Dirt games back from like the Colin McRae's and all this, and I do love them. But Dirt 3 just left me really cold.
I've not played it.
Did you play Dirt 2?
No, I've not played it.
Yeah, I played Dirt 2. Dirt 2 was fantastic.
Dirt 2, yeah, so you played Dirt 3.
Okay.
It was that with that stupid Gymkhana mode.
See, I always think of that film Jim Carter. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No, see, every time someone says Gymkhana to me, I think exactly the same, Chris.
Gymkhana,
the guy running around, it was like a kung fu movie or something.
That was it, yeah. And his special ability was that he could do gymnastics, which is amazing.
That sounds better than this mode where you just drive around. It's like playing Tony Hawk's, but you're a car, and you don't handle well.
Sounds good to me.
Right. I have got Dirt 3, but I haven't played it at all yet. But Dirt 2, I mean, I was a massive fan of Sega Rally back in the day. And, on the Saturn, that was... I mean, I've played that recently on the Saturn, and that still, for me, kind of holds up. And, and it is... The handling of the cars, it's, incredible. But and I really enjoyed Dirt 2. I must admit, it kind of reminded me of Sega Rally, the control and the handling of the cars. By saying that, I'm not a massive driving fan, so people probably think I'm talking out my arse, but I did enjoy Dirt 2.
Fair enough. I was all ready to pull the trigger. I found it for 20 quid as well on the PC, which is great. But then I was watching one of the reviews and they said that Gymkhana mode was like part of it, so I was like, no, I'm not going to have it. Because I love Destruction Derby. And that's what this whole thing is. Yeah. And I was like, great, this is going to... No, they ruined it. I don't want to go down that road again.
You not just ignore that element of the game? No?
I don't think they'll let you because you'll probably have to do that to progress.
That's a shame.
Which just, I can't bother. But there you go, and I think that's our new releases. We've got the Wii down here, but I don't think
do believe there's nothing else new released of that, right?
Well, no, I see. I have got one here.
The Wii?
No, just for PC, so you'll be pleased to hear this, Dits. Well, in fact, it's probably a game that sounds a lot better in my head than it actually will be. And it comes out on the 8th of June. It's The Sims 3, Katy Perry, Sweet Treats.
Lord, for Christ's sake. Really?
No, that's what I'm saying. It sounds a lot better in my head. Katy Perry, Sweet Treats.
Sweet Treats?
Than the game.
Do you get a free Katy Perry?
Probably not. But, I'm just taking the piss, so... No.
Unbelievable.
Brilliant. Alright, we'll move on to the news. Then, so the news. We just picked out a story each, which has basically caught our eye throughout the week, and we're just going to have a chat about it, basically. My little one here is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but we kind of spoke about it before, but this is the Steel Battalion producer. Does anyone remember Steel Battalion on the original Xbox?
Well, I wish I owned it now with the controller, I've got to be honest.
That's worth about 100 quid though, I know, if not more.
Yeah, definitely. At least. No, 200 quid. Yeah.
Ooh.
Was that the one that you needed a degree to actually use?
Yep.
Okay. No, I never played it.
Nice bit of kit as well, properly made. Really,
it did look nice. It did look nice, but I never played it.
But there's a Kinect version coming out, and it's meant to be sort of Microsoft's Kinect hardcore range, for the core gamer. From what I've seen, it looks like they've just gone OTT with blood and just got some weird bits where you wave your hands. But anyway, but what's happened here is the producer of the game's come out and said that. What has he said?
It's shit.
It's shit.
Yeah. I'm guessing
Kinect doesn't work, so...
I'm guessing he's saying, let's wait for the next generation of Kinect.
Yeah, he's saying this game won't respond to your controls, but the new version of Kinect will hopefully make it better.
That's what he's saying, I'm telling you.
So don't blame us, blame Kinect. That's what he's saying.
What he's basically, I think he was quizzed on what what's his wish list for the next Kinect, and he said things like they want improved resolution, voice recognition, more depth of field, things like this, a better camera. All this
Basically, they want Project Natal.
Yeah, they basically want what they promised us 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which it just made me laugh because I don't know if you remember, just before Kinect launched, there was this whole thing about price and is it going to be too expensive because they had to have its own CPU, its own processor to do extra things. Yeah. And then at the last minute they cut it and made the camera a bit smaller and still sold it for quite a lot of money.
See, I would have rather have actually paid like 150 quid for it, but with everything in it, I think I'd have preferred that.
Yeah, and I'd probably be using it today if they did.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot more companies would have got behind it and not created shovelware, party games, things like that, which serve their purpose, you know what I mean? That is fine. But we would have seen more detailed games, you know, with it if they tried at the start. And of course there'll be, I fully expect, you know, come E3 they may stand up and go, here's Kinect 2. You know, and it's got what we said 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And everyone will scream and cheer and away we go.
So you mean you're not impressed by Kinect Fun Labs? Sorry.
Shoot me.
Just trying to wind you up.
I don't know. It winds me up a little bit because like Steel Battalion now is going to come out with this game. And fair enough, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've not really played it or anything like this, but it seems like, you know, in our heads, when we think Steel Battalion, we think the controller, we think this game, and the people who played it are like, it's a fantastic game.
I'm guessing the people who played it, though, it was really precise.
Mm.
Do you see what I mean? Surely these original veterans of Steel Battalion and go, oh, I'm going to get a bit of this in. I'm going to go for this. It's going to be amazing. But they're going to load the game up and then be blown away by how goddamn poor it is.
Yeah, and that's going to ruin the franchise.
Yeah.
You know, and that's Steel Battalion dead.
I don't think it'll sell particularly well anyway, because, like, you know, it's the same as the Wii. You know, they'd release sort of like, I suppose, so-called hardcore games,
or Mad World, things
you
like
know,
that.
and they didn't sell. You know, whereas the sort of the shite, like, you know, again, I'm sure there is you know, there is people who enjoy Just Dance, and again qualify it by saying,
yeah.
But you know, the shovelware sort of sells like gangbusters.
But this particular headline is making us all go, well, it'd be all right. It'd be all right for the next Kinect. Yeah, They're almost instilling that we're already now preparing ourselves for being not as good as we think it's going to be. Does that?
Yeah, he's already said, look, we tried. But,
it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It should never really, in my opinion, come out in my mind. I don't think it works with Kinect, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but not in the current state of what Kinect is. I don't think.
I won't be buying Steel Battalion for Kinect, but I'll again be interested to see what people say. I mean, if it ends up being fantastic, brilliant. I've been proved wrong, but I don't think so.
I'm telling you now, I'm going to lay it on the line. I don't think it's going to be fantastic.
No, I don't think it'll be fantastic. But do you guys remember last E3 when they revealed the Star Wars Kinect game, and everybody was like, no, that was the first year when Kinect was released, wasn't it? Mm. They showed that video of the guy or the kid doing the force powers and everything. And if you look at that kind of compared to what it is now, and you know, the best part of that game, from what I hear, is the dancing section. You know,
surprise.
Is the Han Solo dance?
Oh god, that video is awful. I'm getting so wound up by Star Wars in general because, I mean, I loved Star Wars as a kid. It was amazing. I must have watched Star Wars 100 times at least. But the sort of the Yoda phone adverts and Jesus Christ, I just want to shoot sort of George Lucas. Obviously, I'm not going to because that would be awful. But you know, it just feels. It'd be bad for me. But you know, it's so poor, you know, and then like they just seem to be taking the piss, you know, and it's just
Kinect
not fun.
really isn't. Kinect is not an issue for us, is it? Really, it's not.
It's not for us, no. But when it encroaches on, that's the thing. That's where people get annoyed. Where, you know, I'm not a massive Steel Battalion fan.
No, nor me.
But when it encroaches in that area, you start to go, well, wait a minute. You know, and that's when you say, like, your Halos with the Kinect voice thing. If they made the next one where you had to use it and things like this, it's coming into the area where you don't want it.
No, and like I say, they've spent money on this product, and then it's like, we now have to justify its existence, so let's, you know, shove it into games that don't necessarily need it, you know, so...
Because we're all fans, aren't we, Kinect?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
And again, I have so much fun. This week I've had so much fun playing bowling with my little daughter. Seriously, it's absolutely brilliant. But that's as good as it's going to get. I'm never going to be the guy who plays a game fully without a controller in my hand. I'm never going to be that guy. It won't ever happen in my lifetime.
But I mean, going back, I mean, I have to say, you know, I suppose in its defence, the first time I used it to, you know, I know the dashboard, the Xbox dashboard, people don't like it particularly or whatever, but there's some, you know, when you use your voice to sort of like select things, or you use your hand to swipe across to sort of select things, it kind of, it did bring a smile to my face, you know, you think, oh wow, this is, you know, but then I use my controller, you know.
I can press left quite easily.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's quicker, and it's more... Well, again, you say that. You can apparently shut your Xbox off, can't you, with voice?
No, I've never actually done that.
I know you can, because I've done it before. I don't know if I've accidentally done it, but bugger if I can get it done now. I've tried it, Xbox off. It just doesn't work. Some things do, but like you say, I think the actual control of, you know, the actual controlling the UI and all of that is okay, it's fine, but it honestly is a hell of a lot quicker on the controller. It really works.
Oh, that's enough Kinect bashing.
Yep. Kinect. Bye-bye, Kinect.
40, what's your story?
Now, I've got a bit of an issue with this story, I think, although the more I look into it, I think, well, it's probably not going to be quite as bad as what I thought it was. But there's a new Sony patent that's come up just recently, and the way it's worded is, Sony patents way to interrupt games with adverts. Have any of you guys heard of this?
I did see it, and I saw you were quite angry.
Well, they've basically got a new patent that will allow them to pause your games to throw up adverts in your fucking face. Now, I've got a bit of an issue with this, because I must admit, I thought to myself, look, we have adverts everywhere, on consoles, everywhere you look, there's adverts, TV, adverts. But the thought to me of actually playing a game and then it says to you, I'm sorry, I'm just going to pause your bit of action going on here and I'm going to throw this advert. That to me will destroy gaming, in my opinion. Now, I looked at it, I thought, that obviously, in my mind, I thought, now what it will be is when you pause, let's say you pause a game, yeah, and then there might be some adverts on the screen. I could probably live with that at worst case scenario. But looking down this, it doesn't look like that's what it is. It's actually going to be pausing your bloody game to show you adverts.
I think
I've got an issue with that. I've got a real issue with this.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, you know, you can imagine it sort of pops up and says, we'd like to bring you a word from our sponsors and all that kind of shite. But
you're doing the big boss lip.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of. I suppose it's not. This isn't new, really. I suppose, you know, I did a sort of a bit of looking into this, and you know, can you remember like Cool Spot? You know, that was a sort of 7-Up.
No. I never paused your game.
No, I know that, but you know, I'm just saying that sort of, you know, advertising in games, it's not necessarily a new thing. I take your point totally, you know, and if
hold on a second, listen to this particular line.
Go on.
From there, the game will pause, the advert will play, followed by another short warning that gameplay will soon restart. I've got a bit of an issue.
Like going to Tesco when it reminds me there's an escalator.
It's not.
Well, you might need a pee or something. It might be doing you a favour. I'm just joking.
No. I will choose when I want to go for a piss. Yeah. Please tell me that this is going to be used when you press the pause button.
I think you might be looking at it a little bit wrong. Obviously, if I've gone to a shop and spent 40 quid on a game, and then come home, and then before I can play, I have to watch a 10-minute advert, I'd be very annoyed.
For conversation than for effect, you do understand that, because the more you read down, you realise it's going to be more on free-to-play games and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got have you got an iPod or iPhone?
Yep.
You know, you get the free version of everything, and they are full of adverts.
Yeah, but this is moving on. This is like, isn't it? More recently, adverts within streaming TV and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, you know, and that really pisses me off. It's like I'm forced to watch an advert for like British Gas or something. If I'm watching something on, you know, the ITV player or something like that, or, you know, for on demand, and it really, you know, and the thing is as well, like you'd think with streaming those sort of like programs, when there's, like, say if you're catching up with X Factor or whatever, you know, and there's a natural advert in, say, the show, they then have an advert in the stream, and I don't know if you've noticed that, you know, and that really annoys me. Like, it might only be for 30 seconds, but why? It's a stream. I'm catching up with it. I'm not I didn't want to watch the adverts. That's why I'm catching up with it. Do you know what I mean? And so that's what it really pisses me off.
Again, it's another revenue stream, isn't it?
Well, you can only just imagine that Sony have looked at this and they've thought, okay, we're in the shite a little bit financially. We need to do something to sort of like sell our products even more. So how can we do that? Well, we've got I
don't understand how that's going to. In the long run, it's going to piss you off, isn't it?
It brings in more people. This is what we're going to have a little discussion in a minute, aren't we? But I think a lot of it's going to be every single publisher is going to want their own little store. And, if they can start throwing out free-to-play games with adverts and their own little cash shops, then happy days,
Yeah. And you'd be surprised, people will moan and piss and moan for a while, but then you'd be surprised how quickly they'll get used to it and think it'll just become sort of like, oh, okay, another advert. I'm not saying it's right at all, and I don't agree with it, and I don't want to see it, but... I
don't want it interfering in the game I'm playing. That's what I'm trying to say.
You'll have to pay 12,000 quatlus to make sure that goes away for 30 minutes, and then you have to pay it again.
Oh, man. And just quickly, off the back of that, Ditch, I noticed you put in this was it Void, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't really understand that. I looked at it earlier. I thought, I don't know if I understand what that's all about, to be honest. But
it's a bit random. It's a bit timely. Released today. It's an online store for PC games called Gamersgate, and they've released their own little thing called Void. Where you can play any game for free. They've got a few select games on here, like Risen, which is a relatively new game, and you can just go on, make an account, and log in and play. What will happen is every once in a while an advert will pop up.
See, that sounds more enticing to me. I don't mind the sound of that.
So that could be the kind of thing they're thinking. It's like, well, we'll get you in, we can play for free.
Because I'm choosing to go and do that. I'm going to play on a platform that I don't want to play on. Yeah, and it would only really work with certain type of games, won't it? I think, yeah. But
they'll have to go in and change stuff. But yeah.
This other thing is where I've gone and bought a disc from a shop. If it's going to be a disc in the future, yeah, I agree. Put it in. If it's going to pause it or that sort of thing, it's a bit of a different issue. I mean, Christ's sake, we're going to end up having no gameplay, aren't we?
Yeah, I think they'll be stupid to put. As I say, if you go into a shop and spend £40 on a game, I think there'll be a massive uproar. But if it is free to play, they can do what they want because they're giving you it for free.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, like I say, and I know it didn't interrupt your gameplay, but again, you go back to sort of games like McKids, and it's all about advertising that product. There's like Chup Chups in Zool, weren't there? And you remember Zool, the Optimate, and
what was the Quavers one?
That was that Sleepwalker, was it, or something?
Sleepwalker, yeah.
There was Crazy Colin as well. That's an old Spectrum game. That I'm sure that was Quavers. But yeah,
I mean, I think
it does work in your favour as well. There's the Doritos games, isn't there, on the Xbox?
Totally
free. Yeah.
And obviously they're throwing advertising in your face, but it was a free game.
Oh, those Burger King games as well, weren't they? Which didn't. I don't know
you got them free on the Xbox, weren't you?
They didn't come out in this country,
don't think you did. I remember looking at them on eBay. Going,
there was Sneak King or something like that. You could play as the Burger King, which they looked awful, but yeah.
It's an interesting future, that's for sure.
Well, in the future, they'll just directly sort of channel adverts into your brain. But anyway.
If I can order pizza mid-game, I probably would be okay about it.
EverQuest did that, but that's another story.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
/pizza.
Superb.
All right, Chris, you got a story?
Yeah. I mean, this kind of just caught my eye in as much as Battlefield 3. There's been some rumours, and it's not sort of confirmed yet, but there are rumours that it's going to be announced at E3 by EA. Made sure I was careful saying those. Basically, sort of same type of thing as Call of Duty Elite service. So you pay a subscription fee, and you get access to your maps and stuff like that, sort of early, and it's part of your subscription and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it caught my eye just because I know that if you bought the hardened edition of Call of Duty, you got a year's worth of Elite, and this just seems to be the way that these sort of things are going, and you have to pay for online passes these days for quite a lot of games to sort of be able to access them.
See, I could go off on one here, but I'll try and stay a little bit.
No, go for
I'll try
it.
and stay reserved. But no, EA really do annoy me with this. I mean, let alone they shut down their servers of games every once in a while, and you may well have paid into that scheme. You know what I mean? Before. They're trying. They're all doing it. Gears of War did it. Just say Call of Duty did it. They're making you pay for something which doesn't exist yet. They're making you pay for a pipe dream. So they're saying, yeah, there will be DLC, and it might be good. It might be absolutely rubbish. You don't know that. But they're saying, give us the money up front, and everyone's happy. I'd rather not do that.
Well, but that's the same as putting your money into maybe one of these Firestarter things, isn't it?
Yeah. But they're not asking, that when you've already spent the money, I've already been to the shop, paid full price for it, bought some of the DLC already.
I mean, this doesn't affect me. I never ever pay into any of this sort of bollocks, I must admit. I just don't do it.
And it's a bit far on in Battlefield 3's life cycle as well for them to go, okay, now we're going to go, here's this Uber version or whatever of it. It just seems a bit wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like I say, it just caught my eye. This just seems to be the way that things are going, especially with these kind of multiplayer games like shooters and things like that. You get maps, and like you say, there's all the pass for Gears of War, and it's just more way of getting that extra.
I'm actually guessing
revenue.
These are for the people who are absolutely addicted to these sort of games.
Which is it's a lot of people,
Yeah, it is. But I'm thinking these people actually go, I've got to have it, and they just pay for it. It's immaterial. They will just do it.
That's the scary thing, isn't it? People do just go, oh, yeah, it's a new thing.
But that's all they play. That might be the only thing they ever. Look, would I pay it for Top Spin 4? That's the question you got to ask. If it gave me all sorts of bonuses, the answer is no, because I'm not that way inclined. But if someone was like me who played a game continually all the time, and it's the only game they played, you might buy into that dream of what they're going to.
There's a thing as well though. It's like a lot of random small companies, sort of MMOs do this. So I'll talk about MMOs again, but they'll have like a cash shop, and they'll have this is £1, this is 50p. Whatever, and they'll have something on there completely random, but it might be priced at £10,000.
What, real money?
Real money,
yeah.
And it could be something stupid again, like a hat, like a shoe, something like this.
You're not telling me someone actually pays that.
But that's the thing, yeah. They'll just keep it there, and then maybe once in 12 months, 18 months, someone will come along and buy it.
No, they won't. No way.
It happens. It does happen. And that's what keeps these things going. As long as if it's there, someone will buy it.
But that must make you think you're not actually as hardcore as you think you are.
Well, if you just go out and buy something.
No. What I mean is, in other words, we are the core gamer, okay?
Oh, God, we're not stupid. Well.
Right. No, but then there are this element, there are these people who do this sort of ridiculous bloody... I mean, what are they doing? Who's going to pay that for that? I'm sorry,
Again, you'd be surprised. I mean, what was it? The Oblivion, the horse armour, and all that kind of shit.
That's not £10,000 though, is it?
No, but I can't get my head around why people would pay money, real money, for a virtual item of clothing for your avatar. That to me just makes no sense whatsoever. And again, what you were saying sort of earlier, Ben, about you've bought a season pass for The Walking Dead. Well, who's to say that the sort of the next episodes are going to be any good? You've bought into that because you've paid for that season pass, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's not the same sort of money we're talking about here. And also, let's be honest, it's in good how am I going to defend this one?
Yeah,
you bastard. I wouldn't normally do that, but I felt that at worst case scenario, in fact, I've got 2 hours worth of gameplay for £15. So I think I hummed and hawed and thought, well, look, at the end of the day, if it's a number 9, at the end of the day, number 10, if I didn't have a decent game, even just for £15, then, I've lost out. But if it's a decent game, then really you haven't lost out, have you, for 2 hours worth of great entertainment? I look at it differently, I think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be paying £35.
No, but again, if you take that over a year, like Ditch was saying, it's what, $8.99 for Terra or whatever, a month or something like that. And again, so if you equate that to over 12 months for the quality of the content you get, it's, I suppose it's one of those. it pays for your maps. What is it like? 1,200 Microsoft points or something like that for new maps for Call of Duty. Whereas you get those free. I suppose if you're really into Call of Duty, it's possibly a product that's for you. But
I'm guessing the people who pay for that, the people who only really play Call of Duty, or they only really play Battlefield. I think generally.
Yeah, potentially.
Because you wouldn't be able to afford all of this shit. The average gamer wouldn't be able to pay for everything on subscription base. It wouldn't work.
I've got a little story here. This is from back in November 2011. A company called BigPoint. I don't know if you heard of them. They're a German MMO developer who make free-to-play games. They've got a game called Dark Orbit, which again, you probably never heard of. Most people haven't. And they sold these little drones, just like a spaceship shooting game, for €1,000 each. And they saw 2,000 people bought them over 4 days.
Really hurts to hear that.
It's ridiculous.
Jesus.
But these are people then who have got just money to burn.
Just money to burn. Madness.
In other words, they're rich people. There must be rich and famous people playing these games, surely. I don't know what it is. but
or just kids with mummy's credit card.
No, come on, that doesn't really happen, does it? Not for £1,000. Not for
mad, isn't it?
I don't know. The thing is, if you go into, because I've stopped doing it now, I don't put my credit card details online with Microsoft or Sony or whatever. But and the thing is, that if you pay for a sort of not a physical transaction, like if you want Microsoft points, it's so easy because you don't see the money, do you? You don't see. Whereas if you have to go into a shop, hand over 25 quid for a voucher or whatever, you feel it more. Just, do you know what I mean?
It's not easy if you're in control of your finances, though. It's not. It's just, if you're just giving money willy-nilly on a online service like that, then I think you're a bit of a fool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or am I offending everybody? What I mean is, come on, you have to know what you're paying for. I don't do that anymore. I never buy points over the console. I'll go and get points for the best price I can get. As in a code. But then maybe that's because I'm a bit more of a frugal gamer these days. I don't know, but I know what you mean. But I don't think any sensible person would just buy stuff willy-nilly like that. I don't think.
Fair news. That's a good story, man.
Excellent.
That was the news. Right, guys, so that's been good fun.
Excellent fun.
I feel we've been waffling quite a bit, but for first podcasts, guys, you've done absolutely brilliant, so well done.
Thank you very much, dear master.
Thank you, yes, bless you. I'll say you treated me gently. It's my first ever podcast.
Right, next time we're going hard. Right, anyway, I'd just like to say thank you to you guys for turning up. You've done a brilliant job, as I said, so it's good. It's good to be back in the chair, good to be chatting rubbish again, and I'm expecting the hate mail soon.
From my point of view, I feel utterly privileged to be asked to come on this podcast. Just to get you back on the hot seat, mate. Seriously, it's an absolute privilege, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Brilliant. It took me about 5 minutes to start moaning, so it's good.
Just quickly though, Chris, before you say anything, I would prefer a little bit more PC talk in the podcast, if that's okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't think there was enough top spin talk either, to be honest. I think, could probably do with a bit more of that. But, again, just like to sort of like mirror what, Ben's said, that it's been really good fun, sort of like just to chat about games and, if people enjoy it, then fantastic. So that's what we kind of want, I'm not an expert in any way, shape or form. So, it is just purely my own opinion. And if people enjoy listening to us, then fair play.
Cool.
Exactly. Good stuff.
Right then, dear listener, if you want to find us, you can find us over at www.thesamecoin.co.uk. We also have an email address, which is mail@thesamecoin.co.uk. We have a couple of little things as well. We want to start getting you a bit more involved. We are going to go with a topic next week, and we're going to be talking about what we think the future of gaming is. So if you want to contribute to the actual topic about what is the future of gaming, you can come onto the webpage, or you can email us, or come onto Twitter and give your suggestions, and we'll read them out on the next show. Fordy, you've actually got something as well. You want to start kicking off as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. Perhaps we can, get the ball rolling and maybe get a few challenges up and running. Maybe a few game ideas of, score chasing, something like that. Whether it be Pinball FX or Pinball Arcade or any game really that if anyone's got any idea of a game they want to set challenges, perhaps they can contact us as well to, sort of get a bit of a challenge on.
Yeah, I think it'd be as well. It's kind of relevant. We've got E3 coming up shortly, and I know a lot of people don't like E3 because what you actually see and what you get are totally two different things a lot of the time. But I get quite excited about E3 personally. Seeing new games, new things coming out. So again, just discussing the future of gaming, I think will be kind of relevant. If there's any
exactly
new
right.
announcements.
I'm one of those ones who are not particularly interested in E3 because I think it's a hyperbole, but I think perhaps you can get me a little bit more on board with it for that reason. If we can get involved and maybe get excited about the future, it all sounds good to me. Yeah.
Cool.
Brilliant.
Right, guys, where else can people find you?
Chris, yourself?
Okay, yeah, I'm on Twitter. You can follow me. Please be gentle with me. I'm Dastardly Jabby, all one word. If you follow the same coin, you'll see me following them. So, yeah, if you want to contact me, do so.
And likewise for me, it's XX, little X's, Fordy, Fordie, little X's again. The little X's are there for some reason. I think my kids laugh at me and say, "What you like people giving you little kisses?" That's exactly what they said. I'm like, no, the reality is that someone had already taken up 40. Believe it or not, there's another 40 out there somewhere. So, but no, definitely catch up on there. Or obviously, you'll be linked to the same coin anyway. So,
exactly. All right, yeah, you can find me as well at Dits. That's DITS. And as I say, you can follow the main site as well at TS Coin. The main website again is www.thesamecoin.co.uk, and if you want to mail in, that is mail@thesamecoin.co.uk. So, it's been good fun. So I've been Ditz.
I've been Fordy.
I've been Chris.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye bye.